What is up, YKTR Sports Nations? Welcome back into the YKTR content studio for a very special episode of the sports show. It's week 24 review time. We're pretty much past that now, but we're rolling straight into week 25. We've also got the NRLW week 3 preview. I am joined as always by producer Jacko and triple OG Willie Mason.
What's happening, Hoz?
We're just a bunch of dogs in here. And there's going to be plenty of dog chat to kick us off. Mace, what's happening?
Not a lot, man. I've had a decent weekend. Met the big man Shaq.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
I saw it. I was just jacking up some absolute terrible threes. I had too much to drink. I saw about 3 rings. It was awful.
Did you drain one?
Oh, not one.
Not one.
And I just nearly gave up. It was the longest 45 seconds ever. I think Latrell was there. Gale was there. Trell was all right. Like, everyone was awful. Like, Shaq, everyone just wanted to meet Shaq.
Yeah.
He's just like a larger-than-life character. I mean, like, if you're our age, you just love Shaq,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
He's just that dude that we grew up on. He was the most dominant player. Everyone wanted to be like Shaq. It was great. We got to meet him on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, we went out to, I think, down near the Rocks, and we went to the bar next door, and you know that inspired. They're hilarious dudes. I've done a few things with them before, so we were just smashing piss before it, and I'm like, we are not shooting threes. Anyway, so we got in there, and everyone was having some good time. Everyone had a good time. We got to meet him, and he was so like hospitable and just a big gentle giant. Signed heaps of balls. I bought what about Texas? Chris, the great Chris Walker. So
Jeez, he gets around.
He goes. Because this is all through PointsBet. He goes,
Chris Walker, by the way.
Yeah, Chris Walker. He goes, Mace, make sure you buy. So I had to go to fucking Rebel, buy 3 NBA balls. Cost me $300.
Yeah.
And I said, he goes, I'm going to get them shined. No, I didn't get it reimbursed. He lost them. I said, where are the balls? Because he was just about to go. I said, Shaq's leaving. Where are the balls? He goes, like, bro, I don't know.
So you didn't get anything signed?
Nothing signed. Nothing signed and 300 down the drain.
Oh.
So I said, good on you, Texas. Well done. But we got to meet him. He was so good, mate. I think he had so many things to do here. By the time he did that with us, he was just fucking over it. I could tell by his body language. I think the last 3 balls, if I wanted to get him signed, I think it would have blown his head off.
Yeah. But he looks like he's had a good shift over.
He had a good time. He done a lot of things. He does a lot of. He's a great person. Things that he does for the community in every sort of community. What else? Say that again. Everything he does for the community over there.
Oh yeah, when he's the giveaways
he's
and he
philanthropist. He buys people like everything. Like I think he was in Culture Kings, and he he just saw a lady there and goes, just massive shopping spree. You know what I mean? It just changes their lives just a little bit. You know, he just does all those little things. You can do that when you got $1 billion in your wallet.
Yeah.
But great man, great. It was a great weekend.
For people that don't know, Shaq is an NBA champion, and Mace. On this show, we speak a lot about champions and try to pick who comes first, but in the bedroom, champions don't come first. Steady Freddy is a doctor-formulated delay spray that helps guys last longer.
That's a great segue.
Look, every time I roll into it, I hear Jacko start laughing. I know. All right, I've hit it with that segue.
Love it.
Look, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. PE happens to 1 in 3 guys, probably more. Take your game to the next level. Steady Freddy there, Mace, is here to help you go the extra distance. They've also released a multivitamin specifically for male sexual health called Ball Boost. Check it out, steadyfreddy.com.
What was it called?
Ball Boost. They're not shying away, mate.
It's the best.
They're not shying away. They're all in Steady Freddy.
To the point.
YKTR
and
15,
use the
baby.
code YKTR15 for 15% off your first order. That's steadyfreddy.com and use code YKTR15. Jacko,
nice skip.
Let's roll, baby.
That was beautiful.
Right.
That was beautiful.
Ice makes out like that's hard. It's kitties.
Speaking of dogs, let's roll straight into one. A little bit of breaking news this morning, but our boy Tyson Gamble, who we're a big fan of, Skip, we did have it a bit further down in the agenda. Obviously,
Tyson Gamble's a dog.
Tyson Gamble is a dog. Players reportedly not happy with the spray from Kevy. Ezra Mam dropped for Tyson Gamble, but the latest development, Gamble come out on a podcast and basically said that the squad turns to the mastermind that is Adam Reynolds rather than Kevy when it comes to game-to-game advice. I know you want to touch on this from the jump. What do you make of Tyson's comments?
Yeah, I'll just want to give it from my perspective, Mason, and I'll pop it over to you because I feel like we're getting this first thing Thursday morning. This was breaking. I was listening to Triple M on the way in. I heard MG talking about it, and I feel like I want to stick up for Tyson Gamble because I feel like he's going to get pumped out of this. And the reason I want to stick up for him is because, and not really to hammer Kevy because I'm in the process of thinking about if I want to coach as well. Like I've been doing an accreditation system, and in my head I'm thinking, fuck, do I really want to coach? Coaching is one of the hardest jobs in the world. An NRL coach, NFL coach, NBA coaches, it's so hard. It's not just the ins and outs of footy. There's so much more things that come with it. So I've sort of just been umming and ahhing about it for a while, but I'm sort of leaning towards not doing it because it's a tough job. And this is not to hammer Kevy, but there aren't many good ones out there through my experience, Mace. And the reason I want to stick up for Tyson Gamble, and I feel like it's important to stick up for Tyson Gamble, is because I sort of feel like, you know, different positions, Tyson Gamble could potentially become a way better player than what I ever was. But I feel like he's sort of he's at that point of his career where I was at one point where I'm like, I really needed good coaching. Like there's a difference between me and you, Mace. The reason we love having you on, you give us credibility of being an origin player, of playing for your country, you fucking won grand finals. I never did any of that. So I needed really good coaching to get the best out of me. I needed really good information. That's why I speak a lot about my time with Brad Arthur, who was really good at I always felt like he really gave good information to everyone across the board, and I learned so much from him. But as my career went on, I realised that I was sort of lucky in that little time that I got with BA because I really soaked in a lot of stuff. Even like Ando, and this is not to be sour grapes to anyone, like, because I got dropped a few times, so I don't want to make out like it's, coaches that dropped me. But like, even I learned a lot from Stephen Kearney, even though he didn't like me. Yep. He ended up dropping me, and I didn't play for him in 2012. I learned so much off Stephen Kearney during that time. But I realised as my career went on, a little bit later on, with a guy like Toos, for instance, who I think is very similar to Kevy Walters, and people have. When I've spoken about Kevy in this light before, I sort of like speak about twos. It's like I'm not hammering. I'm just saying they're old school coaches. They're more sort of managers. Technically, not the most sound coaches, which it sort of didn't appeal to me as much with twos.
Club legends.
So that's really important too. So with twos. Fucking so grateful that he gave me a run. He saved my career. He was a part of I was going to go to Super League in 12. I ended up playing a grand final in 13.
You had a great 3 years.
Mate, it was unreal. But to be fair, I learnt so much during that period off Glenn Stewart, off Jason King, off Brett Stewart, off Jamie Lyon. All the veterans at that team were the guys that coached me. So when Gamble comes out and says this, I can relate to this so much, and I feel like he's going to get hammered. But I always like to give the perspective of a guy like myself compared to a guy like you, Mace, who won a comp early on. You're the best fucking forward in the comp for 10 years. You could plug and play anywhere. So I know that you still appreciated good coaching as your career went on with the likes of Wayne. So just speak a little bit now. If you understand that sense from where Gamble's coming from and where a guy like myself would come from, and then you got guys like Mace, where obviously your situation was different in your playing career.
And I think the media will turn on Tyson Gamble because it's Kevy Walters. Yeah. You know what I mean? People don't understand. He's a good dude. Because he's a great dude. He's a great person. He's very emotional. And I've had a lot to do with Kevy with Aussie sides, and even at the Newcastle Knights when Wayne was there. Like I've got nothing but love for Kevy Walters. But I understand what Tyson Gamble's saying. You know, with these legendary club legends who coach, they don't. I mean, I think they just sort of. They don't give that individual coaching that they need. Like Tyson Gamble, if he was under a Craig Bellamy or even a Wayne Bennett or someone like that who's going to teach him the X's and O's and how to game control and all these little intricacies that a 5'8" needs to learn, like they'll teach him. He's obviously not learning this. So it's come from a place where he's actually being honest and he's going, I'm learning most of my stuff from Adam Reynolds. He's asking Adam Reynolds all this advice when he should be asking Kevy Walters, because Kevy Walters is one of the greatest players of all time. Like, do you know what I mean?
But one of the greatest sixes of all time.
It doesn't translate into being a great coach. You can have a look at the great coaches right at the moment now, from Robbo to Bellamy to Bennett. They weren't fucking Hall of Fame players. You know, so even from my coaching, I had Steve Folkes for the first 10 years, and he did not put any pressure on me at all. I had great senior players around me, and most of the time I used to learn all the stuff was in rep camps. When I went into rep camps, when I was hanging out with Joey, when I was hanging out with, Danny Badiris and asking them all these questions, going in there, Gordon Tallis and Shane Webke and Petro and Ben Kennedy and all these back rows. Like I had so many questions because I'm a student of the game. I want to know how to get better. I just asked all these questions to all the players like Trent Barrett and Brad Fittler and all these. I was blessed to play with these guys.
It's a respect thing as well.
It's a respect thing. I'm like, what do you do in this situation defensively? What do you do in this situation attack-wise? What line do you run here, here, and here, and here? Because you're not really asking the Australian coach because you're expected to know all that shit. But I was a young 21-year-old kid just going, fuck, and Joey's teaching me all these lines to run, everything else, all the little nuances of the game that I actually learnt real quick because I got into camp real quick when I was a young 21-year-old. And I'd bring that back to the Bulldogs. And every time I went in and out of camp, we'd always just be bouncing off each other. Like Folksy was just more about the mentality of the game, being fucking hard, hitting hard, not giving up. All these things. So he fed my mind like that. And then I got my other skills from the other players I was playing with. I was blessed to play with the Sonny Bills and Andrew Ryans, Mark O'Mealy's, Joy Asatassis, Jonathan Thurston's, all those. So we all fed off each other. Do you know what I mean? Like we all sat in groups and just tried to figure shit out. Like it was really player-led. And then I went to the Roosters where Freddie was like, he was a young coach. He was only 37 years old. I keep forgetting how fucking young Freddie was. So Freddie had a brain. His brain was like just probably too smart for the game. But his people skills weren't the best.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't know how to translate that onto the field. So Fitzy was captain, and then I think he didn't even tell Fitzy that he wasn't captain. He just said Braith's captain. Just all of a sudden, because that's the way that Freddie deals with things.
Those are the different. No, but those are the different
aspects. That's the difference between where Wayne Bennett would sit you down and explain things to and tell the whole group why we're changing captaincies because Brave's coming up, Fitzy's at the end of his tenure. He was his last year at the Roosters. Like there's a way to do things. Yeah. But Freddie has learnt obviously through that. And now he's a great Origin coach because he knows how to deal with people a bit more. He's grown. He's a 48-year-old man now. Like he's probably even older, I think. Him, and then I've had Craig Bellamy, which was totally different. Like he's more intense, he's more X's and O's. Craig Bellamy so we'd be all sitting in a meeting. Craig Bellamy would have a psychologist not watching him, watching our reaction. That's how into coaching he was. So the psychologist is watching how Danny Badiris is reacting when Craig Bellamy's speaking, how I'm looking at, what I'm talking, what I'm looking at, my eyes on him and my eyes on the ground, talking about that. And then he'd relay that to Belly and go, all right, well, in this meeting, he wasn't doing this, and this. And then Belly would come up to you and go, did you understand what I was saying? And then he explained to you if you didn't understand, because sometimes you don't understand what the fuck the coach is talking about, especially in the forwards. These intricate plays, they can go fucking over your head, especially in the front row. I was pretty smart as a front row, but like I could look at Ogre and go, do you know what the fuck's going on? Maybe we should walk through this play. You know what I mean? And it was quite funny because sometimes if you're getting coached by a coach like Folksy, God rest his soul, it wasn't all about the X's and O's. When you got a fucking team like ours, you just play football. Yep. Do you know what I mean? You weren't really learning that much, but you were learning mentally. And then I had Wayne Bennett on Kangaroo Tours, and I was fortunate enough to have him at 32, 33, 34. That's where I learned so much about defense and how defenses work. So much. So I think the whole 2000s, it wasn't like when I first started, it wasn't all defensive orientated like it is now. It was about big hits and shoulder charges and all that sort of shit. And it wasn't about being effective. It wasn't about doing anything. It was just make a fucking big hit, make a big play, run as hard as you can. And then it just started getting evolved because Melbourne started fucking wrestling. So you had to try and adapt with those guys because they were changing the game. Yep. So then wrestling come into it. And then so everything, all defenses started changing. It was up and slide, all that. Now it's up, in, slide, this way, that way. So it all changed. And then I learned so much under Wayne. Then I went to Tubes. By the time I got to Tubes, I was pretty much made. By the time I got, after Wayne and, I continue learning all the time. I want to learn off good players. I want to learn off great players and great coaches. I respected Tubes so much. I got out there, I did the business, played as hard as I could for Manly. You know what I mean? So most of the coaches I had always learned of something. So Tubes was more like Folksy, just fucking play hard. Just go in there and rip in.
Win the contest.
He knows my job is to fucking go out there, impose my will on that other bloke and be bigger, stronger, faster, you know what I mean? And play as hard as I can, lead the team, all that kind of stuff. I know my job. But if you learn the little intricacies of the game from a Wayne Bennett defensively, and then from even guys like Brad Fittler who was so smart, what lines to run, and it is a hard thing. It is a hard thing coaching. Where Gamble's probably hasn't learned jack shit in 2 years, so his game hasn't evolved, and so who the fuck is he blaming? The coach. So I can understand from Gamble's perspective here, and I think the media will stick up for Kevy. But like the coach needs to take some responsibility. I love Kevy. Do you know what I mean? But like maybe he's not doing the right job there. Maybe he's not the right person for the job. The last couple of years, they've gotten the wooden spoon in that. They've had a decent year this year. They probably fall out of the 8. So there's some sort of miscommunication there with his main players, the core. In 976, look at Dearden, he left. You know what I mean? Like we've got some players like Gamble shows some talent, but then he's in and out of games. Ezra, I would never drop that young kid.
Well, that was the thing, Mace. I wonder if, I think if I can sort of flip to the other side, because I agree with you guys. In terms, especially coaching, you look at the NBA, the best coaches are Ty Lue and Steve Kerr. Like, not necessarily the great players make the best coaches, probably for the reasons you've articulated.
Yeah, Ty Lue got stepped over by AI.
Yeah, that's it.
Disrespected.
Cornrows.
Disrespected on the court, but he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a top 3 coach, like Popovich. Popovich reminds me of Wayne.
Yeah.
He's just got that old father. He's like a father figure.
Ty Lue's actually probably down there. The more I think about it, he's not in Steve Kerr.
You don't really look at, you look at Wayne as like your father. So people go, why does everyone play so fucking great for Wayne? It's just like, well, he has that sort of
You don't let your dad
aura.
down.
It's like you don't want to let your dad down, do you? Or you know what I mean? Like you'd be pissed off at you. You don't want your dad to be pissed off at you.
What about the timing, though, Mace, in terms of it's must win for the Broncos? The last month has been awful. Tyson Gamble's just been reinserted this week for Ezra Mam. To come out now with these comments versus, let's say...
Is he signed somewhere next year?
He's signed through 2023 with the Broncos, but I believe it's a player option. So
apparently Knights are trying to get him. And this is a great point, Jacko, and this is why I think it matters even more, right? So Ezra Mam's been dropped, and I didn't think Ezra Mam deserved to be dropped.
He's had an ordinary 2 weeks, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay, but fucking they've lost by 100 points in 2 weeks. Everyone's played awful.
Yeah.
Pinpointing... But the beauty of it, and Gamble, I listened to it as well because I heard the audio on Triple M on the way in on this morning as well. He wasn't saying it, like he's not proper going after him. You can tell he's...
Just answering the question.
He's answering the question, talking about almost a respect for Renault, and he's trying to say it the best way possible. But there is plenty in it, and that's what, and then that's what I'm taking on. And with regards to what Mace was talking a little bit about, like... It's players, again, like Tyson Gamble and myself, and not players 1 to 7 that sort of get frustrated with poor coaching. It's players 7 to 25. Like just guys that are on 150,000. Like for me, right, this is an important part of the year where, I was going to allude to it a little bit at the teams down the bottom, Mace, is that, mate, a lot of the time I was still fighting for a contract at this point of the season. Like there was probably... 2 occasions in my 6-year career where I had a contract sorted. The other 4 years I was fighting. I was battling for a contract. So it was important that I was trying to learn as much as I could. I really feel I can really relate to Gamble so much in this. And I hope you, if you're just like a casual fan or maybe a Broncos fan and you're sort of trying to decipher what he said, I hope that gives you an insight to what it's like sort of being a player like that.
Maybe this will give Kevy Walters a little bit of... like, hey, maybe I'm not doing enough. Let's just not just blame Tyson Gamble because he said this. He's not trying to throw Kevy under the bus or anything like that. He's just giving you an honest answer. You want people with honest answers. All he's saying is he's learning more off Renault because Reynolds is playing in 2022. Kevy played in the 90s. The game's changed.
That's what he said.
You've got to understand.
That's exactly what he said, mate. The game's changed.
If you can't evolve as a coach into the 2020s, you're going to get left behind, especially if you're a half. If you're a specialist halves coach. Like, I think Kevy is a half and 5'8". He's a 5'8", this Tyson Gamble kid. So he wants to learn. He's probably expecting, I'm going to learn everything off Kevy Walters. He's played for Australia, Queensland. He's a Queensland coach. He's been assistant coach to Australia. He's been Wayne Bennett's like right-hand man. And I haven't fucking learned anything.
He's been Bellamy's right-hand man.
He's
been
Bellamy's right-hand man. So he's probably expecting to learn a lot of things. And in 2 years, he's probably digressed. So he's looking at Reynolds, who's been he's been a top halfback for the last 12 years, and he's like, well, what can I do? What can I learn? That's just what, as I said before, when I went into rep camps, I would be asking all the best players in the rep camp what you can do. It only makes you a better player. He's only just comparing us. I just don't want him to get ragged through the coals like saying that he's bagging Kevy Walters because he's not. All he's doing is giving an honest opinion about how he's feeling.
Yep.
And you watch, the media will fucking turn on him, Brisbane will turn on him, and I just don't think he deserves it. Just have a look at the other side. Have a look at Kevy. Is Kevy doing the right thing? He's obviously not. Otherwise, he would just say, I'm learning everything from Kevy, because he doesn't hate Kevy Walters. He'd be saying, I'm learning everything from Kevy Walters that I can. He's giving me so much time, but he didn't say that. He said he's learning everything from Reynolds. So that's just the fucking honest truth. Yep. It's true. It is what it is. He said what he said, and it is what it is. I don't think we should psychoanalyze the whole fucking thing, but he said it. That's it.
It'll be interesting to see the way it plays out. Like I said, we're hearing this breaking this morning. It was on a podcast last night. We'll probably get it up before anyone. I'm more intrigued to just see how this plays out in the media because I think he's going to be
unless there's something that can trump that story. And if it's in Brisbane, no one's trumping that shit.
No one's Donald.
No one's Donald. No one's going to get the Donald on that.
Same time.
Well, something that could trump it is if Joseph Suaalii Scope decides in the next 3 hours that he's going to have a code switch. So the big story of the week, Suaalii reportedly offered the $10 million ARU deal. Now, this hasn't been confirmed. Mace, you and I are sort of speaking off air. You haven't heard too much from the ARU in terms of the hard numbers, but it goes without saying the development for you guys to give a bit of context. The reason that Suaalii reportedly left the Rabbitohs in favour of the Roosters wasn't money. He actually got offered more from the Rabbitohs and Wayne, but Wayne wasn't willing to concede to the 1 year renegotiate. So he can do the Sonny Bill and renegotiate.
This is why, Mace, you kick us off, Mace, because this gives me SPW vibes, and I'm not opposed to it as well.
No, I'm not opposed to it too. You got to back
So
yourself.
it's obviously been something that potentially, whether he wants to go play union or not, the reason this clause is there is so he's always got the option.
As if his kid and his manager, if his manager had half a brain, he would have done this. He's not locking into 3 year deals. He's not locking into 3 or 4 year deals. I'm not sure who his manager is, but he would have mapped out what he wants to do. All right, sign 1 year deal, 1 or 2 year deals with the Roosters.
Well, they're 4 year deals, but the clause is that.
But there's a clause. There's always a clause. Anytime he wants to get out, he can get out. Because have a look at, you don't know when's the next Rugby World Cup next year?
Next year,
yeah. As if he's not going to play in that. He's going to get his money here. He's probably he's going to get picked in the Samoan World Cup team or the Aussie team. I'm pretty sure the Aussie team. So he'll tick that box. Roosters are a chance to get into at least the prelim this year. They might jag a comp. So he could get those 2 in 1 year. And then he's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm an absolute gun at both. It's pretty even how he is, isn't it? It's just like, and the ARU have unlimited cap, you're saying.
Well, they don't have a salary cap.
So they don't have a salary cap. So then go give 2 mil because he's worth that. He's marketable. He's a good-looking cat. He's unbelievable on and off the field. He's what you want in your team. And like he can just ignite this next generation of young Wallabies. They'll be going, shit, I can do what he's doing. I can go to Union. Union's looking quite cool again. Like it was in the 2000s because they were winning. We beat South Africa on the weekend. We're going all right. We're building. If he can have, if he decides to go at the end of this year, good on him. Playing the World Cup, come back. This is what he can do, and this is how smart he is. He's going to be the best code hopper of all time. He's going to end up playing 50 tests. That's
why I wanted the big dog to lead off.
50 tests for the Wallabies and probably like 30 for Australia for the Kangaroos and Origins and whatever he wants. He's going to go down as one of the best because he's an absolute freak. He ain't like Sonny Bill who changed it like 26. Like Israel Folau at 26, Lottie Takiri, Wendell Saylor. This kid was born to play union and league at the same time. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't we just embrace it? This is where the ego comes in with league and union. Oh, we got him here. He's both. And he's going to play both until he'll be in the south of France earning $1.2 million. He come back here. The world's his oyster. This kid can do whatever he wants.
The other thing with the ARU and the way the contracts are structured now is the Wallabies, in order to get their best talent like Quaid and stuff, they let them do these sabbaticals. So he could sign
because that's the Matt Giddo rule, right? Because Matt Giddo was playing in Toulon when I was there, and Gidds is like, where are we going to do? Because you can't play here, and you can't get over $1 million here. You go play in the south of France or you go play somewhere else and you get over $1 million. You play a lot of games over there. The lifestyle's unbelievable. Trust me, I've played there.
Picked, yeah.
And then you go over there and then you come back and you still play for Australia like every other country can do. Like all the Pommies and that play over in the south of France, they come back and play for England.
The only country that don't do that are the All Blacks. They keep all their talent.
But the All Blacks are just a different level.
Yeah, they might start to have to.
But they might start doing that because look, they're not as dominant.
Yeah, they lost to Argentina.
They lost to Argentina, and they're calling whoever the Foster guy. They're calling for his head.
Yeah, Fozzie.
They don't lose 2 or 3 tests in a row ever.
Lost 4 or 5, mate.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It just never happens. When's the last time this happened?
If they lose,
can't even remember.
It's never happened. So if they lose another game, we spoke about this on 10 out of the weekend. I know we're having an All Blacks pivot here. We will get
that's
to
all right. That's all right.
But if the All Blacks lose on the weekend to Argentina, they'll drop out of the top 5 world rankings for the first time in history. Over 100 years.
It can't happen.
Nah, they'll pump them. But.
All right. Anyway,
I can't handle. I love the All Blacks. I don't want to. They're just too good, mate.
It's so weird.
Yeah, Argentina, damn.
This is bittersweet for me. This is bittersweet for me, Joey. As you know, here at YKTR Sports all the time, we always say we're players first. So I want Joey to get that Bunsen. If he can get $2 million a season and
bag.
the Roosters
Get that
can't
bag,
pay him,
kid.
if you can get that bag, then take it to the bank, baby.
Yeah.
But I love the game NRL, and I want to see Joey. I want to see Joey stay in the game. Probably prefer him
What
not
do
to
you
be playing
reckon
for
the
the
chances
Roosters.
are from him playing in the World Cup next year?
If he was to go, he would be a lock.
I'd say he's a lot.
I just think I think he's going to play. I think that's been his plan the whole time. Get here,
could win a Rugby World Cup,
a couple of pre-seasons, toughen the hell up, play in the hardest comp in the world, NRL comp in the world, do your pre-season, get fit as fuck, learn all these skills, tackles, all this kind of stuff. Look how he's evolved. And then go to Union and just tear that whole thing up. Then come back. That's what I'm worried about, the 10-year deal or whatever they're offering him.
Yeah, he's been at he won't do that. He's too smart.
I think he's too smart for that. I think he'll sign maybe. When's the World Cup? So just say if he finishes this year, just say he signs a 2-year deal or
So
something.
they wanted the 5-year deal because I think they want to get him for 2 World Cups. So it'll be next year and 2020.
He won't do that.
He won't do that.
The argument is that he'll do exactly what he's done with the Roosters. He'll sign a 5-year deal
Mate.
with a 1-year option.
Well, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, if he does that, yeah.
And you should be happy that you've got him.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like he ticks every single box marketability wise. Like he's a good looking kid. He does everything right.
Speaks really well too.
Speaks really well. He's a leader. You can see that kid. He's talking in huddles, man. Like he's like they've got a senior team there. And he's saying some shit. It's like I'm so impressed with that kid.
I said to the boys yesterday, mate, that he 100% gives me SBW vibes, and he's the sort of like for everything that you're saying, ticks every box. He's it's not like a normal NRL player. He went to King's School, or what's the school? What's the rugby union school that he went to?
Kings.
Kings? He went to Kings, or Jacko will look it up. Scots? Kings?
Sweet.
Anyway, so he went to King's School while he was training full-time at the Rabbitohs. That was part of a scholarship deal. He's also a freak at basketball. I've been around Joey for years, and the best thing is too...
Yeah, King's School, Parramatta. Yeah.
He is, honestly... Ask anyone that's been around him, Mace. He's one of the most humble kids.
Yeah, very humble.
He's fucking so much like Sonny Bill, where he's just a freak at everything. He's a glamour.
Sonny's shit at basketball.
Everyone loves it. Oh, Sonny no good at basketball?
He's awful.
Could he knock down a three with Shaq?
No way. He's awful.
Fun fact, he still has the Australian junior high jump record as well.
Yeah, there you go. He just fucks around and goes and wins high jump fucking
one
records.
of our greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, he's going to be a special kid, man. People, because I remember back in the day too, like he's got a presence about him, and remember early on in SBW's days, like everyone he was touted, the SBW is going to be the next big, but there were people that going, settle down, pump the brakes. He's not going to be. He's playing in the centres, and then after about 2 years, everyone went, all those doubters went, holy shit, he's the best fucking thing to ever.
I did some work. I was doing some sprint work with him with the great Roger Fabry.
Yep,
and I think he was 17 years old at that time, and I just give him a little bit of advice. My advice was play both codes. I said, don't fucking stick to league. I said, do your apprenticeship in league. This is exactly what I said. Do your apprenticeship in league, do it a couple of years, then go play in the World Cup, and then do your thing there, and then come back to league, and then do your thing there, win World Cups, win Origins comps, then go back again. I said, do it all. I said, you only got one shot at this. I said, don't just stick your head in NRL and just play this game forever. It's fucking hard on your body, mentally, physically. I said, look, I'm not disrespecting Union, but they don't train nowhere near as hard as us. You know, so I said, just do your work.
You've actually lived it too, so you know for sure.
Do your work in league first. Do everything with Robbo. They'll train hard. You'll learn all these proper things, how to work hard and how to be a pro. Then go.
You're
That's
right.
what it looks like he's doing.
He could go grand final World Cup win this year if he plays for Australia.
You could go grand final, World Cup win, roll into next year, World Cup. And Australia, like we just spoke about, they're diminishing All Blacks, South Africa.
Man,
diminishing. Australia, they're a smoking
It seems to be wide open, doesn't it?
Wide open.
The World Cup is wide open. Just like this World Cup for Rugby League.
They're talking about the Irish.
Irish
are like number one.
Ireland will be favourites.
Wales
with
are in
the All
there,
Blacks, but yeah.
The Frenchies will be up there. Frenchies are up there.
They're always up there at World Cup, those bastards. Again, the $10 million.
The Frogs.
$10 million over 5 years. That figure hasn't been confirmed, but we mentioned it.
I think that's just. I think the ARU even come out and it said something about we got to buy it. Basically saying we got to buy it out of him. But
the reason the $10 million is believable, however, is what May said before. There's no cap, so they can give him whatever they want. Then you get the TARS contract. Then you get the sabbatical money in Japan, France. He could easily make.
I'm not doubting whether they could offer it, whether it's been offered or not.
Formally,
and there's no way I get the sense Joey's way too smart. He's going to bank on himself. He'll do whatever he wants. Yeah. Joey,
when you got the talent,
you can back yourself.
That's what I said. You just got to do you.
I believe
Don't
he
listen
is
to anyone
back
else.
with Isaac Moses since he's been reinstated. That's my understanding is that Isaac Moses was.
He's the lowest prick on earth.
Yeah.
I think worst manager.
Don't think so,
I might
bro.
be wrong.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think you go with him.
I'm pretty sure once he cut ties, I could be wrong, but he went with got like the family and a solicitor's involved.
Yeah,
right?
he wouldn't be going with that guy. Scumbag. He ruined his career.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But yeah. All right, let's roll on to Nelson Asofa-Solomona. Let's go.
Moses just got a spray.
Oh.
Nelson Asofa-Solomona.
Yep.
So he's handed his 5th grade 1 for the year. He's
saw
actually
his
pled
rap
guilty.
sheet. I tweeted, I said, go and have a look at Luke O'Donnell's. He'll make him look like a choir boy.
Yeah. Greg Bird.
Oh, my God.
Greg Bird.
Sam Burgess.
Do you know Greg Bird was Birdie? We're in a group chat with Birdie in the fantasy, and we're going back on suspensions. Do you know he's suspended for 30 games?
Yeah.
That's a full season and
played
finals.
in that game when you need Shane Martini in the head. Out for the year. Kid was 20. Poor old Shane Martini just sitting there, boom. I was like, what the fuck is that? Who's this little rat from Maitland? Oh, Birdie. Shout out to Birdman.
Shout out to
Love
the
you,
Birdman.
bro.
He's still carrying on in the group
He's still
chat
carrying
too.
on.
Yeah, he's getting
up north too, and he's still playing.
Mate,
and folding everyone.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
He's playing for what's his name?
He just
Clive
loves
Palmer's
his
team.
coin, mate. Just loves his coin.
Yeah, he's on good fat. Good little Bunsen.
But
Birdie. He's hammering me. He's been getting on the Reds too much and gets in the group chat and starts spraying people. He's spraying me about fantasy shit this
He's
morning.
the best, eh? I love him.
Yeah. The chat, I have to get Birdie and Mace on a pod one day talking about, we'll sit in the south of France and they'll going back and forth on accolades. It's one of the best. It's probably one of the best afternoons. Jody Broughton can attest to it. It was me and a guy over an English winger over there sitting side by side, and it was Birdie and Mace going just spraying each other, smacking Stella Artois fucking points. Oh, it was one of the great arvos.
Oh, I miss Perpignan.
Speaking of Lovin Bunsen, well, Nelson's actually given up the most money in the last 2 years of anyone who's been fined. So he's pled guilty to 16 charges.
They're all just little misdemeanors, but
little
aren't they?
high contacts, all that sort of stuff. So
hard when you're 6'7".
Yeah, Scope. Your thoughts on Nels? Did you think he deserves a suspension for the elbow drop and just the constant accrual of fines?
No, not this one. Yes, on the Wade Egan one. The Wade Egan one was bad. It shouldn't have been a fine. He should have got suspended for that one. But I like this system because the reason they brought this system in, Mace, is the fines is that if you know in the past they had the loading, and if you were to get just say misdemeanor, right? So he did that on Joseph Suaalii where he clearly missed the chin body. Jacko said we were chatting about it yesterday. He goes, yeah, but what if he hit? I said, yeah, well, what if I try to swing my arm and missed? It doesn't matter. Like you don't get fined for attempted fucking head-eye shots.
It's not even intent. It's the attempt.
So he dropped it onto the chest. You know, he's pushing it, but there are also players in the fucking Roosters like Jared and fucking Radley that push the line as well, right? So
just looks more ferocious because he's so big.
He's a big man.
If Sam Walker was doing that to someone, you wouldn't give a shit, would you?
They played a
you
giggle
wouldn't
on,
care.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're my size or his size, if you do anything that's overly aggressive, it looks awful because most blokes are scared.
Oi, going back
And
to the
they're
guy we
tiny.
started with, the dog. Tyson Gamble. He does that shit all the time.
all the time.
But because he's a 6, everyone goes, oh, he's got a little bit about him, this cunt. You know what I mean? But because when it's Nelson, so this is what, like, imagine if Nelson, just say that was a preliminary final to go through the grand final, Jacko, and you said, oh, we nearly got his fucking chin, missed and elbowed his chest, and you went, he would miss a grand final because of that.
I hate the loading.
Too many people have lost grand finals.
Isn't that why Isaac?
Big games.
Big games.
Is
like
that why
Cam Smith, I
Isaac
think.
Luke missed the grand final? Was that
Isaac
the loading
Luke,
stuff?
Isaac
Did he have a loading one?
Yeah, that was
Google that as we're talking about it, Jacko, to confirm.
That was awful. Yeah. That was probably the main one that I actually felt sorry for. I was like, wow, he's going to miss a grand final for that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did change it. So this year was a clean slate, wasn't it? So everyone got a clean slate.
The thing is, it's this year. I think it started this year.
So these are all his things from this year.
5 of the best. 5 of the best. But the thing is, the reason they fucked up, like the system is fine because if you got a little misdemeanor, but the way the match review committee fucked up by not, he should have got suspended for the Wade Egan one. And that was the suspension.
And these are the worst things. Like they miss it and then they come back and try and get you. Like just do your job at the start and he would not be missing a game right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they miss that. That's a clear, like I'm all for being aggressive. And I'm like, that deserves a suspension. Whatever he did on the weekend, no, he hit him on the chest.
Yeah.
So all they're doing is making it up because they missed it in the first place. Do your fucking job.
And
Do it properly.
And the same with with Jared. Like, people were blowing up about Jared, like the facial.
Like, what did he do? Like, he hit him hard and then he just like gave him a bit of a facial.
Exactly.
Who cares?
6 again. He deserved 10 because the ref had just said, if anything else goes on, then you're going to get sent.
Because everyone come in and started pushing. You know, like Victor Radley's coming in pushing from the start. And it was just like, it was a fiery game.
Yeah.
This is what you want. This is what people love.
The press was down and out at one point, and then all of a sudden he fucking got a little... the fucking Mad Dog's fucking back out, and he's fucking...
So what happened to Victor Radley? He gets suspended or is he injured?
No, Victor Radley...
Head knock.
No, that was the head knock.
That was a head knock.
That was bad.
I worry about that kid, man. I worry about Lindsay Collins. I do actually worry about him because they're just coming out. I think he's got perfect tackle tech, Victor Radley, but sometimes he just gets... Was that on Bromwich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just dipped that little bit too early. Bromwich has got good late footwork, man. He's got big hips. He's a big boy. You've got to get that shit right.
Just to confirm retro history, Isaac Luke did have 50 carryover points, so that was what factored into him missing the 2014 grand final.
There you go.
So that was...
See,
Still,
that's
just didn't fucking deserve it, mate. It's
It
bullshit.
was a dangerous throw, and it was nothing.
And there's been some other really big name players that have lost grand
That
finals.
was the one that came to mind straight away.
Not even grand finals, like
Semi-finals,
Origins. Origins. So I do like the new system. I've liked the new system. I think
it's great.
I think a few players even
just
come
say,
out.
sorry, if you're Hargraves or someone, you've been playing for 12 years, and your fucking record is this long, and then it all just gets expunged.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, fucking new lease of life.
Well,
Imagine that happened to Luke O'Donnell.
Yeah.
You'd play another 5 years.
I think I agree with you, boys. I don't think you can have it both ways. We can't celebrate Friday night as the great gladiator war, and we all love Nelson versus Jared.
Yeah, it was
But
sick.
And then-
it was fucking a
spray
mad
him
game.
and say that
That was one of the best games I've seen for a good
I
while.
was telling the boys, mate, it was the highest rated Friday night game Fox has ever had.
Really?
Friday
There you
football.
go.
Yeah. So
There you go.
people loved
And
it.
then you suspend the big guy.
Yeah.
And then let's like a air out of the balloon when you send Hargraves off. I just want to see that keep going because they're not going to punch on. They're just going to keep going at each other and going at each other. All the ref had to do was cut your shit out. Otherwise, you are going to go. I think he said that maybe before, maybe.
Who were we watching yesterday, Scope? Who was the referee goat that sort of was calm?
Tony Archer. We watched a throwback to 2010. It was the game that Billy and Hainsey were going at each other. Remember how they hated each other?
Yeah.
So they'd been suspended all their points, Melbourne.
Yeah.
And they got the competition stripped from them. So there was a lot of heat and Tony Archer just let it go. But then, to your point, then he ended up sending Billy Slater and poor little Morty got sent. So that was a win for us. Morty come in. That was a win for us because Billy and Hainsey were going at it.
Yeah.
And then Morty come third man in and just like fucking pulled him off. And
That's what they put these rules in place, like with the no fighting. So you can still be super aggressive, but you just can't throw a punch. Like that's exactly what. So just don't send these guys off. You want to see that. You want to see these guys go at it and go at it and go at it. That's why it was probably the highest rating on Fox Sports. Highest
people were probably
Friday
texting
night.
each other, going,
People loving each other. People.
You gotta watch this game.
Twitter was going crazy. You got to watch this. You got to watch this because Hargraves and Big Nelson are going at it.
I had group chats blowing up because I missed
fucking talking
it. Yeah.
shit to each other. And the thing I love about Big Nas, he was very composed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't saying shit. Like he wasn't, because usually he's got a fair bit to say. He did at the end when he hit Lindsay Collins. But I think he has so much respect for Hargraves. It's just that old bull versus a young bull. He just copped it.
yeah,
You know
Jared
what I mean?
was going after him all
Jared
game,
was going
shooting
after
out
him because
line.
he fucking he had to. Because
cool
Nas
is
is their dude, and Hargraves has still got it in him. He's 32-33. The old bull went at him and he fucking got him.
You must love to see that, mate. Like Jared, there was probably maybe a year or two ago where people were starting to say he kind of gone over the hill, but he's still every time
I was saying at the start of this year.
every time there's a big game, he goes after
He'll go after your
is.
big dog, and he'll usually win.
It's old school like that.
And he's got that fucking Matt Lodge with him. I reckon Matt Lodge has been playing his best football.
Yeah.
He's got that 1-2 punch, and you've got Takayaho coming off the bench now. You're probably going to miss Lindsay Collins, but they've still got a good, formidable middle. You put Lindsay Collins and Victor Radley back in there, they can make a run. They can make a run.
Very dangerous.
That defensive effort, that's premiership shit. They'll give it a big shot.
8 sets in a row in the last 10 minutes or whatever.
That builds so much resolve, and they'll be getting so much confidence out of that. That's against Melbourne. You know what I mean? Down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. They haven't won down there in years. You think that just going to get your confidence way up here?
Veterans always warm into the season too because they probably don't have the biggest off seasons. It's not like everyone else.
No.
They might get looked after. They get rested a little bit. They know that they're going to be peaking at the right time, so they time their run. They don't have to
even guys like
So when
Kiri.
people come after him, Kez and Hargraves,
everyone started bagging Kiri. I said, dude, he had a knee reco. He ain't coming good till about round 20. I said that at the start of the year. Don't expect anything but catch pass. He ain't going to have that leg drive through the line. He's not going to have that initial speed. He's got it all back now.
Yeah.
Because it's been a good 12 months, 12 plus months.
He's low-key killing it, man.
And he is killing it. Takes the pressure off Sam Walker. Verrills is at 9. You know what I mean? Like little Watson, Connor Watson's coming off the bench, running hard. Everyone's going up to that next level because the Roosters have that DNA. They're going to be hard to beat.
He had a blatant swinging arm on Munster as well. But again, to your point, Carey, because it was Carey, instead of 120 kilos dropping down, it was about 25.
I've seen a few little things where they had little smirks at each other. Those two, they were in a nice little battle with each other. It was fun to watch.
A couple of years ago, Carey was a 6 for Australia.
Yeah, true.
You know, he had Munster not nearly coming off the bench or not in the team.
Yeah, true. I think Munster would have been the 14 or floating around
in that Tongan team against Tonga.
No, Teddy
against Tonga when they played Tonga. Kiri was a 5'8".
Yeah, he was.
I think Money was either
14.
Yeah, he was 14. So he had the nod on him. So now Munster's that dude. Kiri's been injured, so they're still going to go at it.
Scope Mace, we may as well roll on. Mace mentioned Lindsay Collins potentially missing some football. So Tommy Eisenhuth's season is done after that hip drop. I suppose the conversation is more just around the hip drop tackle in general. How do we get it out of the game, or what did you make of? Go, Mace.
I've been looking at the hip drop, and I know how third man comes in, and once a third man, we always get taught to keep your feet. If you lose your feet and somehow your knees are on the ground, and then you're in that, so you're trying to wrap legs and your knees and that are on the ground, or one leg, if you lose your legs, that's your hip's going to get in the way somehow when someone's pushing over the top of you. If you keep your legs and you stand up and you come into clean legs properly, you'll never have a hip drop problem. But as soon as you lose your legs, that's when the hip dropping starts happening. It's not on purpose.
It's a lazy attempt.
It's a lazy attempt
Yeah.
because you lose your legs. All you want to do is clean legs up. So you lose your legs and you just got them around the knees sort of thing. And next minute, it's a dominant tackle and you're underneath that guy's knees. You know what I mean? But if you keep your feet like you get taught to all the time, it doesn't happen. It never happens. So I reckon as soon as the ref needs to police it, as soon as you lose your feet, you should be called out of the tackle. You lost your legs out of the play. Because it's happening so much, as soon as they lose their legs, it's nearly a hip drop all the time.
Is it?
So the referee needs to be looking at the ruck. They've got 2 fucking refs on the field, don't they? They're 2 refs? No refs.
One ref.
One ref, whatever. Just look at the ruck, or the sideline needs to be policing that ruck because it's so important. Mate, what are they waiting for? Someone just to blow their knee completely out? You know what I mean? It was a couple of weeks ago when Hastings come through, and then a couple other people come through, and it was the other guy lost his shit and nearly started to fight a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, who was that?
It was one of the I forget, but like he knew it could have been bad. That's why.
Even Mitchy Moses got caught in an awkward one.
Last
week.
It was Moses. Moses started swinging at someone.
I just think you really got to police it properly. I just think you got to understand when it's that third man in. That's what a lot of people are calling for no third man not to be in the tackle.
Joey's been big on it.
Yeah,
for
because it's a
now.
fucking shit go. And if you can't keep your legs in as third man, I think you should be out of the tackle.
Is it just fatigue, mate?
It is fatigue. You're fucked. In the middle, it's mostly middles. Middles are fucked the whole time. After pretty much you kick off, your heart rate's at 200 for the rest of the game.
The good point about Mace bringing it up too is, and if you go back to coaching and wrestling and all that, it wouldn't be coached because it's a lazy option. So the reason I know that is because that was my tackle. That was my go-to. I was always fucking the asses hanging out and I was trying to latch onto the legs. But I used to get in trouble a fair bit, like if you got critiqued during video. BA was really big that I had to have better intent if I come in my legs.
You've got to have intent and drive.
Yeah, and you come in, you've got to hit hit the quad and don't lose your feet, because if you lose your feet, sometimes you see players where they're just hanging on to a foot. It's a lazy tackle, therefore you're not going to have a set defensive line. So coaches aren't coaching that. But if you want to have the perfect example of how to defend and look to the best, who's the best team in the competition right now? Penrith. They never do this tackle. You know why? Because when the first two up top at the moment, they don't make a tackle to. So when the connection starts, when the player carries into 2 players, they don't want to finish there. So other teams want to finish there, get legs, and drop to the ground. What Penrith do they drag you back.
They hold up,
They
yeah.
catch hold, and then therefore the player doesn't want to plant his feet, because if he plants his feet, he goes straight back over on his back. So what he does is he starts fucking moving his feet around. You can't get the legs, and then someone might just come grab a lever. So if you can see here, so one of the tackles that you do to just take him off balance is what you get a handle. You just hook the leg, it knocks him off onto one leg. You don't pick it up and drive, because that could be a spear tackle. But sometimes if you can grab a lever, grab a leg, whip him up, and knocks him off balance, and then the two will just pick him up, drive him backwards, put him on his back.
So if you look at all the best defensive systems.
Yeah.
So you look at Melbourne, you look at Penrith. Their first contact is big. They don't want that third man to come in. They want those two to take care of it. The third man, all he does is survey, see when he can come in and when he can't come in. Do I need to come in or do I not need to come in? Have these two guys got it? And it's always coming from the inside, never from the outside. So if it's Big Nas or something like that, you're probably going to fucking need three. If it's Taumalola, you're probably going to need three, because they stand in tackles, they can fucking wrestle. But most guys don't really need three. If your first two have got intent and your impact is fucking as hard as you can, two people can take care of one. Do you know what I mean? And that third man needs to survey the situation. That's what I always tell these. You got to survey if you have to come in, and if you've got a clear shot at the legs, bang, as you said, good connection on the hips and thighs, everything works together, and that's how a tackle's supposed to do. But a lot of shit can go wrong in that. But it's usually third man being lazy, not smart, coming in when he doesn't have to fucking come in. You know what I mean? You don't usually have to come in all the time as third man. Survey the situation. If you don't need it, get back to A. It's better for the team. You know what I mean? If you took two blokes coming in there and taking care of that one guy, get him on the ground, put him on his back, wrestle, third man comes back, line set, go again. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be in that tackle, because if you come the third man and you come real late, then that other big bastard has to come back. Has to go back in the fucking line. And he's got the legs and he gets the second marker. I'm like, fuck you. You only just got in. I've been wrestling these fucking fish for about 10 minutes. Big marlin.
100%. Next time you're watching Penrith, watch Isaiah yell, get good contact, hold up top.
Watch good, yes.
Watch Uppy. Uppy will be thereabouts. He'll take his time, pick him up and drive him back.
Just watch fucking good defensive systems. Watch Penrith, watch Melbourne, even Parramatta to a certain extent, but watch what the third man does. He's always surveying. He's looking for an option whether to come in, because when you're third man, you've got to come in and you've got to be effective. You've got to fucking hit, tip him off balance, you finish your tackle, then the guy who had the ball or doesn't have control of the ball, he can get the fuck out.
Cheese is really good at that scope. He surveys, he waits, and then he drives.
And then he fucking off. Look how effective he is, because the guy with the ball has the ball that whole time. That's the talk. So the other guy who's not the third man in, he's just been in that impact. He can fuck off if the guy who the third man in comes in and be effective, because you've got the ball all the way to the ground, and that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work.
It's interesting what you say, Scope, about Penrith as well, because now that I'm thinking about it, they typically hold up, and when they get that first call of held, that's the only time they put him on the deck.
Oh, Melbourne. Penrith to change the game with that shit.
As soon as they hear the held call, that's when that lever leg that you spoke about, that's when
that's why they dominate field position.
They're not even worried
about
really putting you on your back
their
that much.
technique is unreal.
They want that first impact to be big and then drive you back. And if you want to keep fucking fighting it, you're going back and back. Hurled, and then everything's set. You're not even on the ground. You just got two markers that are set. And you've lost 3 meters, and the line hasn't even fucking gone back.
And then you've got to go back over the tackle line too.
So what they do is pretty much revolutionising the game, because not many teams are doing that, because they all work so hard.
It's ingrained. They've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah, they've been doing it for 2 years. Melbourne's more about the wrestling and all that kind of shit, because they never had the really big, ferocious pack. You know what I mean? Like where Penrith have a big, ferocious pack. You have fucking run at Viliami kick out. You're getting driven back 5 meters. I don't give a shit who you are.
100%. And Cheese nearly got one wrong a couple of weeks ago on Tino.
Close, yeah.
But you know what saved him? Was his intent, and he went in hard, and it wasn't lazy. So what he did was he was getting
the best
in
at it. He stays, he waits,
and he was like, he sort of diving to make a tackle because it was like a last ditch effort. Whereas the other guys, some of them are going in close enough and then just going.
All I know is the refs need to be here at every team in the preseason and fucking really just give them the rules. This is what's happening, boys. If you do this, and this, you lose your feet. It's a penalty. They need to be strict on it, because I just don't think we can't afford for the worst case scenario for someone to blow his leg out.
You remember this about 5 years ago in terms of third man and being dangerous. And again, I'm giving him another shout out, but Bully was
awful at it.
The cannonball was one that
he started that
for
shit
about half a season, and then They had a crackdown on it. It's more or less out of the game now. You don't see too many.
It's out of the game. The cannonball's out of the game, but now it's turned into a hip drop. And they don't try and do it on purpose. It's a tackle gone wrong because you lose your fucking feet.
Yeah.
Don't lose your feet. Survey the whole tackle, come in effectively or don't come in at all.
Fuck off, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's and don't try and think that's coached into you. You know what I mean? You're getting told that all preseason. Keep your feet, keep your feet, keep your feet. Don't fucking get on your knees. You know what I mean?
More teams will adopt what Penrith are doing, I reckon.
Yeah, big time.
All right, Skip, let's move on. Last one of 5 of the best before we get into your NRLW Week 2 preview.
I want to hear the NRLW review.
Week 3.
I love
Week
it.
3.
I love it. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, he's clued in, Skip.
It's my best working onto it.
And you know why, too.
I know exactly why.
Bunsen to be made. Let's move on. Scope, you put in here of the bottom 5 teams. I suppose with a bit of hindsight as we get towards the end of the year, this is the last week for a lot of teams, but of the bottom 5 teams having a look at next year, which club do you see there that could be the Cowboys of 2023 in terms of go on a bit of a run and have a real quick turnaround?
Mace, the reason I chuck this one in is because obviously we've been talking a lot about the top teams and finals and all that sort of stuff. But when you look at the bottom 5, like I said before, there are plenty of reasons to be playing for a player like me at this point of the season. But a lot of players are trying to get momentum. And I was watching on the weekend in particular, and I thought the Titans really give me vibes of a team that can really improve next year. I look at a few things when I consider that. I love the additions of obviously Foz and Sam Verrills. I think they're positions of like
big time important.
It was so important for them. They're positions of need. I think their leaders have done really well despite the season. Tino has not stopped trying.
And age.
AJ Brimson.
No, but the age.
And the age.
21 years old, mate. You're getting thrown straight into the fucking burner.
So those two in particular have tried their fucking ass off all year. I can see they're starting to... Jacko brought up the point about senior players, or I think maybe even Dave Fafita and Tino talking about they love playing with a guy like Tanner Boyd.
They love him, yeah.
Tanner Boyd. One thing to remember too, they went to school together, so there's a combination there that matters. But when I look at that team as a whole, there's so much potential. And I also look at Holbrook. I think, under the circumstances of, when you're down the bottom of the ladder, there's always people questioning, should he get sacked? What direction the club's going in? You got to remember, they were Paddy Herbert passed away from beating the Roosters last year. Yeah. So they've had a kind of a year.
Yeah.
For me, they're a big bounce back contender out of the bottom 5, Mace. Do you like that with the Titans? Or obviously you'd be pretty high on your Bulldogs as well.
I agree. Only because of the additions of Verrills. I rate Verrills. He's been unlucky with injuries. He's a proper 9, genuine 9, and I just love Fozzie. I love Fozzie as a bloke, and I love him as a player, and I think he would just do the world of good. Tino, another year under his belt, another pre-season. Fafita's going to have another pre-season.
Tino played 80 minutes, Mace, and they had 12 men for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I love that kid. I love everything about him.
As well.
I love Fodawaker. So they've got Fodawaker, they've got Isaac Liu's still around there. You've still got that Fermor, and you've still got...
Fermor's nice, man.
He's good. They've still got a couple of really good backs.
They've got that Sam McIntyre playing 9 at the minute.
So
he's playing 9 for him. He's a lock prop. He's not even a lock.
McIntyre's big, man.
He's not even a lock to play lock. He's not even he's not even their gun lock.
He's playing 9.
He's been playing 9 for him for the last couple of weeks, and he's been serviceable, man. He threw a nice little ball to Jaden Campbell on an out ball.
6'3".
Yeah, he's playing 9 for him.
The kid who come off the bench who can he can hit.
Yeah,
he can hit. He's a hitter. Fucking hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's been playing 9. Yeah, because no one's watching the Titans.
I'm with you. I love watching the Titans play because I love Fafita and I love Big Tino.
Yeah,
and I know they've got talent, but they just haven't got they don't get Fafita in the right position to get good ball. They've been doing it in the last 4 weeks. He's been killing it. You know what I mean? The kid can play. He's got so much raw talent. He's got skills like a 5'8" and a halfback in a body like that. Quick as anyone over 40. He can just do some shit that people can't do. He needs to get the ball at the right time. I still think I would start Tino and I'd start Fodawaker at front row and I'd just stick him at lock. I would stick him at lock so he can attack either side of the ruck, and then he can defend. Fafita. So he can. I've been saying it all year because I want him to attack on both sides of the ruck.
I think Fozzie will bring out the best of him, though, Mace,
but down in the red zone, you get outside forehand and you get into that good shape. But anywhere between there, I don't want you sitting on the left fucking edge waiting for that perfect ball because it's not coming. Because what happens is defenses are just getting onto it and they're getting putting. If it's a 6-4 split, they're putting 7 there. And they're daring you to go down the right side.
That's why both formers have been scoring heaps.
Yeah, that's exactly. But they're putting 7 just to get on Fafita. But if you can just put him in the middle there and then defend him on an edge, you can muck around with this kid. But I want him to attack both sides of the ruck. I want him to get in. I want him to play block shapes. I want him to be the lead runner for block shapes. I want him to get off Tino, pass the early ball to Tino. I want him to showcase his skills because the kid has got ultimate skills. They're just playing him like a big fucking wrecking ball. He is that kid sometimes, but the kid can actually play. He's got footwork like a fucking, he can jam in behind. Hey, imagine if it was a quick play the ball. Tino gets a quick play the ball and A's retreating late and he just fucking engages the markers. He's going straight through your fucking team and nearly running 80. Do you know what I mean? Then you got AJ Brimson on the inside. But I want to see that. I want to see a little bit of some variation from him. I don't want to see him on the right side of the right fucking edge, not touching the ball for 15 minutes when he's got that much talent. And he's only playing to the game plan. You put him at lock, there's no fucking game plan at lock. You're in the middle, you do the middle shit, get out a little bit wider when we get down to the red zone, get outside for and get whatever side you want, mate. Like when we were playing, Sonny Bill could be left, I could be right, Bobcat could be in the middle, I'll be fucking left edge or right edge, and if we fucking happen to be on whatever edge, I'll play left edge, he'd play right in the middle. It didn't matter. We just fucking wanted the ball, and whatever shape was on, we'd play that shape. Or we'd both be together running at that inside, outside on a 3-man. Fucking good luck.
They're nightmare.
And then someone out the back. Do you know what I mean? Like that guy, if you've got a guy like Foran who can play that and who will dig right into the line. If you have Tino running inside and you've got Fafita running that out ball on the 3-man, fucking stop it. That's a try all the time. If you got that little bit of variation out the back with Brimson and you got those numbers,
Campbell,
do you know what I mean? Or Jaden Campbell, like that's the sort of shit that they need to play. All the rest, most of the game is just fucking yardage, coming out of yardage, trying to get into that good ball. I don't want my best player, most destructive player, fucking just getting the ball 8 times a game. Yeah. I want the ball in his hand 20 to 25 times a game, and I want about like 18 hit-ups because I want him to pass the fucking ball more. Because he has skills like that. Like you can't just give him. He's not a one-trick pony. The kid's a gun. Don't sit him on a fucking edge. It just kills me watching the kid. This is his best years. Like he's 22, 23 years old. Let's get the best out of him. Get the best out of him. He scored 18 tries just for fun.
What about leaving him on the edge though, but giving him the license to roam? You know how Joey Manu can come in and play wherever he wants. Like conserve the energy in defence. And then come in and play no license in attack.
Yes, like don't give him a license and don't put him anywhere. Just go. Okay, well.
Give him a license in attack to do whatever he says.
Do whatever you want. Yeah. You know, if you see something on the right side, you can just sweep over the other side. You know what I mean? Like he just has that skill set. You don't want to put him just on an edge and just stay on the right edge. Like, because he's just going to defend it easy.
I think
defenses are too good these days.
I think Joey Manu spends more time on the left edge or middle these days than he actually does on the right. If you watch him,
he takes dummy half scoots over there.
he's coming out of yardage on the left-hand side, just fucking going in for a scoot.
He just doesn't care. He just he's best player in the comp at the moment.
Yeah, he is. I like that scope. I think the Gold Coast, they're such a fun side to watch.
They're a bounce back season, baby.
I agree. I think the Bulldogs will be up there. I think the Bulldogs will come from. We're bottom 4 now. I reckon we'll be pushing for an 8 spot.
I think the Bulldogs are an obvious one. That's why I wanted to go away from the Bulldogs and just give you one that.
I just think the Gold Coast probably they'll be looking at each other Mad Monday, going, "How the fuck are we here?" We should be competing for a top 8.
Too much good young talent.
Yes, and they all should be nearly in their prime.
Jaden Campbell will be 3 to 4 kilos heavier, hopefully.
What do you do with AJ? What do you do with Jaden?
It's going to be a tough one because Fozzie's going to be.
No, it's not them two. It's what you do with Sexton. Is Sexton a part of your plans? Is he going to be your guy to link up with Fozzie? And if he's not,
you think Campbell's
you know the other one, man, because Brimo can fucking play anywhere, right? So he could be a victim of his versatility, but Brimo's in there no matter what. You got to find a spot for him. It's getting the best out of that Greg Marzu as well, because Greg Marzu is the biggest fucking handful in rugby league right now. He's a rugby league handful. His defense is awful. The reads that he makes,
awful.
Like, because when he was I've been watching him closely lately, Mace, because I said about 3 or 4 weeks ago, why did Marzu keep getting dropped? He makes
he lives in no man's land.
Yeah, he's in no man's land. So it's going to come down to...
The worst place to play as a winger is no man's land, and he fucking owns half the fucking real estate.
Mate, so some of the reads that he comes up with, and I love him
I love him as he's a tackle breaker. He can get out of yardage real good. But if he obviously this preseason he's going to be working on all these little things. I hope so. If he doesn't work on it, he's not going to be playing first grade.
He'll just be like that his whole career.
He's going to go like, come up, come down, come up, come down. You know what I mean? Like,
but his attack is...
Because you've got Corey Thompson not even in the side because of Mazu.
Yeah, Corey Thompson
is that dude.
Yeah, and Corey Thompson, respectfully to Corey Thompson, he's a great rugby league player, been a lot for years, but Mazu has so much... Mazu has potential to be a top 4 or 5 winger in the competition.
Total vibes off the bastard. He's
and again, I'm not throwing Toto under the bus, but his carries are fucking disgusting. When I look at the Titans player, I go, I'm glad.
I don't want him near me.
They've got Fafita, they've got Tino, they've got Mazu coming off the wing.
So strong, that's what I mean. Even like Kelly, Brian Kelly runs hard.
Kelly goes good.
Sammy played Origin a couple of years ago. That's what I'm saying. The talent is there. And I'm like, who is your outside backs coach? Who is it?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is it? Because you're not teaching these young kids how to defend.
Marju's a giggle when they pair him with a...
if I'm Corey Thompson, I'm spending all my time with Mazu. I'm mentoring that kid. I'm telling him what to do. I'm going to stand behind him at training all the time. We're going to swap reps, and I'm teaching that kid how to defend because that's all he's missing. And I think he's only young. Corey Thompson's at the end of his career. He's a vet. He can fit in anywhere. I'm not sure how old he is.
That's his bread and butter. His reads for a small guy are so good.
He needs to be teaching Mazu the outside backs and how to... all the little intricacies as a winger. When to drop back, when to come in. I don't know what, because he keeps fucking up. But Corey Thompson is a good defender.
They still got Anthony Don fucking around there in the coaching
And Anthony
systems.
Don was a good defender.
Yeah,
The
he
Don
was solid.
The Don was good.
The Don is good.
He was good.
The Don is good.
The Don's good.
He was good, man. He was
good.
solid. Yeah, if he's thereabouts...
I thought his career was over. He debuted against us in 2014, and Jimmy Mack scored 4 tries on him. I was like, that's the end of you, Don.
Jimmy Mack was a good winger,
Jimmy Mack
man.
was good, and I'm like, that's the end of this kid.
He had to stop through concussions.
You ruined his fucking career. And then biggest comeback of all time.
McManus was with concussions, Fuck, he was
Jimmy
a good
Mack
winger.
was good, bro.
He was a hard worker,
fucking
man.
Is it a Scottish fella?
Yeah.
He was Aussie, but he just played for Scotty because of the last name.
Great bloke.
Ian Henderson.
Just wanted to get on some World Cups.
Yeah, just want to go play some World Cup. He was he was like granite trying to tackle
And a great bloke.
Scope, I'd be remiss if I didn't slide in there. I think a year at home, great recruiting. I think the Wires are going to improve too. I think the Wires and the Bulldogs are both going to start pushing that 8.
I'd hope so. Yeah, and I think being back at home, there's that extra 10% that they've been missing.
I reckon there's a good another 4 or 5.
Because you understand when you're running out and you're running out your hometown, you got your mates, you got your family, you got your friends, you go up that bit. You look for your mum in the crowd, all that kind of stuff. They don't have that for 3 years.
And they've recruited really
Polynesian,
well.
I know the brothers are like. We need that shit. It makes us fucking go through brick walls. They haven't had that.
Yeah, no.
And I think that extra little bit of motivation when they get to Mount Smart and they have those fucking big Saturday nights and all that kind of shit. The drums playing, they have those blackout nights. It's fucking scary.
Sick.
Trust me. I'm a very wanted man at Mount Smart.
You're public enemy number 1.
There should be a fucking statue outside of
they
me.
hate
me with fucking Kidwell.
The wink of doom. Was it a wink or was it?
Oh, fucking please. Brent Webb. I was just me and Brent Webb having a big crack.
That's right. But yeah, that's a good point about what Mace brought up about the Warriors, man. Like it hits different when you catch your family members in the stands.
You get emotional,
and
bro.
They haven't had that.
You get emotional. You see your men in the stands. You get emotional.
Best. Yeah. I didn't see it every game, but when you did, we knew where they were in home games. So if we scored a try in that corner, I might just look up and just give them a little
all the time.
When
I was playing, man, I used to go see where's mum because I used to know where mum was sitting all the time. It'd make me go to another level. Where's my little brothers and sisters? Where's my brother? Where's my all that sort of shit. That shit makes you go to another level. Imagine just living in Redcliffe and, just coming out and playing on these random home grounds and you don't really have a home ground. It's just...
They're not your actual fans.
They're not your actually fucking fans. It's just like, it's hard for them. And I hope the Warriors have a bounce back season.
They will, mate.
Comp's good when the when the Dogs are going good and the Warriors are going good.
Yeah, Broncos as well.
The Bronx. We need the Bronx to go good.
Dylan Walker, Barnett. There's some good signings, Skip.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll on. NRLW, Skip. Give me your best.
All right, let me get through this big game to kick us off as well. The Roosters versus the Dragons. Let's roll into Roosters. Roosters were they had a hard work against the Broncos early on, but I think the class showed out again. I was talking a lot about the centres last week, Jacko. Yep. The spine was unreal. Zahara Tamara, Racine McGregor, little Destiny Brill, who's come down from either the Titans or Broncos. She was unreal. And the fullback, Sam Bremner, I called it Bremer last week. Apologies for that, Sam Bremner. Shout out to a friend of YKTR Sports, Olivia Koenig. She got over for a double. She's crossed for 3 of the best in 2 weeks. So shout out to Olivia. We sent the kit to her and she passed it on to all the girls a couple of weeks ago. So she's killing it. Happy for her. Again, same thing again. Dragons, they had a tough game last week against Parramatta. But Suaalii's just got these girls humming. They found a way to win with a lot of players dropping like flies. Tonegata was at her best again. She's sort of more in a linking role this week. She was linking up with her centres, Paige McGregor. Did I say Racine McGregor before? I think I said Paige. It was Racine McGregor at the Roosters. Paige is at the Dragons. Keely Brown for a couple of meaties early, but the Parramatta dug in and they fought back.
Hey, Scope, sorry, quick one. How many rounds are they playing?
They play 5 rounds and then they play 2 final games that match the NRL Grand Final. So they're
going to be at the men's Grand Final?
Yep, this year they are.
God.
Yep, this year they are. But a concerning part for the Dragons and Suaalii would be that right edge. They got dusted by Parramatta this week. Gail Broughton was unreal, sweeping with Tiana Penatani, which I'll get to a little bit with Para. I'm going to go Roosters in that game. Roosters to beat the Dragons. Moving on to the Bronx and the Titans. Both these teams were unreal, but just weren't good enough on the day. Bronx have really come back to the pack a little bit. Their stars are still playing unreal. You think of Briginshaw, Taryn Aiken's still one of the best halves in the game at the moment. Julia Robinson, she had a really nice...
The winger, she's plays for Australia and stuff like that.
Yeah, Julia Robinson. Yeah. Okay. She had a nice little try, probably the try of the year, Mace. You've rolled straight into that. There was a cross-field kick from, was it Zahara Tamara, I think, put it across. Julia Robinson.
On the dime too, Zahara.
Yeah, she put it right on the centre's head. Julia Robinson gets it. She takes off. She finds Taryn Aiken, who crossed for the first of a double. And I've written down there are 3 things that you can guarantee in life, boys. Death, taxes, and Taryn Aiken with a show and go for a piece of meat at $4.50, mate.
Oh, you got it? You're the best.
Taryn Aiken is a gun, bro. She's a gun.
People at home, I think you need to listen to the scope.
Attention.
You need to listen to what he's saying.
Pay attention. Death,
this is
taxes,
not a joke.
Aiken show and go for a piece of meat. It's fucking jam. The Titans, again, they played Newcastle. They were physical from your girl...
Uppy Nichols.
Uppy Nichols was really good. Actually, she bounced back from a quieter game in the first game. But Georgia Hale, I always forget her name. Yeah. But the 2 best were the skipper. She really bounced back. Brittany
nice
Brayley-Nati.
In the middle, Georgia's just a nice link.
Do you see a no-looker?
Yeah, she's silky, man. She's silky.
Little no-looker for a piece of meat. But Shannon Marto, big front row. Those 2 girls in the middle just led from the front. They were physical. Eviani Palete, she did her best to get involved. I think... I wouldn't mind seeing her getting put back to fullback. She played centres for Queensland this year. She played fullback last year and then sort of floated into centres back into the season. She was popping up all over the field. She was doing a Joey Manu for the Titans, who's trying to just get the ball wherever she could. I reckon they should put her back to fullback so she doesn't have to go searching or running across the field to find the ball. But they just weren't good enough for Newcastle. I'm going to go the Bronx in that game. I think the Bronx class will show out. Moving on to Newcastle. And speaking of the Bronx, ex-Bronco Tamika Upton was unbelievable. She was my player of the round.
She's gone.
She willed her team to a victory in this one. They just showed their class, it shows the class that she's got and why. Do you know Joey and even... Adam O'Brien and everyone at Newcastle were involved in getting her to the club. They highlighted her as a really important player at NRLW. So they've done a really good job getting there. They're 2 from 2. And they didn't win a game last season in their inaugural season. So they've really some really good signings.
It's good that they're doing that, the WNRL. Otherwise it would be unfair. Brisbane would just win it every year. Yeah,
Tamika Upton and Millie Boyle being unreal. The Titans did a really good job on my girl, Jessie Southwell. They really contained her. They knew they're going to come off the right foot. Hannah is out for the season. She's going to be a massive loss. And this is why I think I like the Eels in this game. I thought the Eels really bounced back well. Like I mentioned right up the top, Penatani and Broughton were unbelievable. Skipper Gale Broughton off the back of the halves. I want to give the halves a shout out. 2 rookie halves in Preston and Quinlan. Preston's kicking game was unreal. Really got Parramatta in a way better field position than they had last week. And then they had that Ash Quinlan who's got a touchback round. She really linked up well with Broughton, and Penatani and Broughton had a field day on the Dragons' right edge. So I like the Eels in that game. I think the Eels can jag one here. They've had a tough start to the season playing last year's 2 grand finalists, and I think the Eels can jag one. Stay tuned for Skip's Anytime Jam that will be coming on Saturday, Mace, because there's some money. There's some money to be made. But shout out to the girls. Another entertaining round of NRLW. It was actually the girls' footy was better than the boys on Sunday, to be fair. So, all right, let's roll into NRL preview.
Let's roll into the NRL preview. Scope Thursday night footy. Parramatta taking on Melbourne. This is the big game at CommBank Stadium. This is pretty much going to decide the makeup of the top 4.
Yep.
Whatever this happens here. So Parramatta.
So Parra win, they get 4th.
Yeah.
And Jerome Hughes just got ruled out last night too, boys.
Yeah.
Cooper John's coming in. Cooper John's
will be in.
Eels
So
win.
you can't split them. The line is -1.5 for Melbourne. The over-under is 43.5.
That was yesterday, Jacko. Sorry, I did
have
that
shortened.
yesterday before. That I dare say Parramatta might be favourites now by the time this is.
Should be. Jerome Hughes is massive.
Yeah,
he's the big.
They were in their slump when he was out.
I think it'll be a
gun.
2. I think it'll be a 2-point swing. I think Parramatta will be favourites now by 1.5, maybe 2.5.
I had him winning anyway, but I think that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Is it at Bankwest?
Same. Yeah, it is.
CommBank, I mean.
CommBank.
Jeez.
A bit of a shout out to Sean Lane, mate. Unreal. Like he's
Killing it, that kid.
His performance on Thursday or Friday night against the Broncos highlights his last couple of months. He's been unreal.
He has been outstanding. I wonder if he's a smoky for the Aussie team. I don't know.
Yeah.
If all the Islander boys are playing for Sar and that.
People that are pulling out of like the Tongan and the Samoan team, like he could be a chance. If they make a deep run, I wouldn't be scared to put him on a left edge. Or
They're going to run with what? Cam Murray, Liam Martin, Angus Crichton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, just say if he plays like that, because I think he can play front row as well.
Yeah.
He sits on an
people
edge.
People at home are probably saying Nano, but
I don't know what Nano's doing.
I hear Nano's.
I don't know. I think he's just going to put his name in the ring anyway, like from last week's performance. I think he's a decent player, but if he does this for the rest of the year and gets him in good position, grand final run, something like that, and he's killing on that left edge, like you can't ignore him.
Mel's done it before. You don't necessarily have to play for Origin before you debut for Australia if you have a mad season and a mad final series.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to pick on form, you know. Yeah. So if you're a back row and you just think and you didn't make the 8 and you're an incumbent, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it.
Dill Brown's a gun too, but he makes Dylan Brown look way better. When Dill's got that easy little outlet, it just opens
BA
up.
set it up.
I love what they've got, like, because Gutho knows, as soon as he gets through, he knows his body's getting through. He just pops it. Gutho's there. You know what I mean? Like,
you know,
he just
a normal
runs that
sweep line is like nice and deep.
Duffos
is flat because he's not running it to run a sweep. He's running it to support as soon as he fucking gets an arm free.
He's going wide, and then he just straightens up right off his hip.
Yeah.
And he's got that free all the time. It's just a matter about if he can get through that traffic like he did on the weekend, then he flicks it back, and like they've got a good combination on that left side.
You know why Parramatta are so dangerous, Mace? Because they lost to the Bulldogs and Tigers during the period that they were running last. No, I don't think, even when they play well, people go, nah, they'll drop off. But the thing is, apart from the Rabbitohs, as long as they don't see the Rabbitohs, they've legit knocked off Melbourne twice in the last... I think they beat Melbourne twice last year. I could be wrong, but they beat Melbourne twice last year. They beat them this year. They've beat Penrith twice.
Penrith don't want to see them in that first bit of the same, which they will.
And they flogged the Roosters at CommBank about 8 weeks ago, just before the Roosters went on a run.
Yeah,
so that
you're right,
the form line's different, but
they're my Smokey to win it, man.
Yeah, people aren't going to take them seriously too. Yeah. The players will, but just the outside, like people on the outside don't realise. Like I've always said this, they're a team of 2s and 3s. Yeah. They've got the second, third, fourth, maybe fourth best player at every position.
Yeah,
so when they play bigger teams, they go fuck you. When they play
about Wanga Blake too.
Yeah,
he's impressive.
He's so much better on the wing, eh?
Mike Acevo's coming into his own. Penasini, like they got a good team. Who's the other? Opacek is the other centre.
Opacek,
nice. He does his job. He probably first time I've ever seen him make a couple of mistakes in a game. He's usually pretty safe. He made a couple last week. Weren't crucial, but he was pretty pissed off.
I think Simonson is a better player than Opacek if you had a different balanced team. Yeah. But with the balance of Wonga, Blake having to play on the right wing, and Opachich, who just does a really solid job. You're right, mate. Yeah. So I don't really see him make too many errors defensively. He's really sound.
Yeah, that's all you want. Yeah. That's all you want from him.
And he does run a hard line.
He'll finish a try off. Like, he'll do everything, but he won't. Yeah. He's not going to create much. You know, like, he won't.
Joel Reddy skip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sort of vibe.
But I like Wonga Blake coming out, play twos and stuff like that. So you can kick right and have Sevo come at you, or kick left and have Wonga Blake come at you.
Yuck.
On the Storm, mate, I wrote this down as I was watching it. After unbelievable job of what the Roosters did at the back end of that game to hold Melbourne out. But for Melbourne to still be in that game, Mace, after the first 40 minutes, I wrote down anyone else would be losing by 30 against the Roosters. Yeah. The Roosters were fucking humming. They were running hard. There were half gaps everywhere.
Semi-line breaks and...
So I judge good teams a lot of the time, mate, based off good losses. Yeah. I love looking at losses. For instance, when Penrith lost to Melbourne 2 weeks ago, 16-0, a lot of people would look at that and gone, a lot of people took in consideration that they had everyone, they come back to the back. They had multiple players out. That was a really good loss. That was a really good game. Same with the Cowboys earlier in the year. So when the Cowboys went to Penrith, just before around Origin time, they got pumped 22-0 or something like that. Fuck, it was a good 22-0. Yeah. They had a proper red-hot crack. It didn't
look like a 22-0, did it?
It wasn't a 22-0 in my opinion. I thought it was a really good loss, even though it was quite convincing. So straight away then I went, Cowboys are a fucking genuine team.
They went on a run.
And they were able to hold it. Yeah, they were able to hold it. So when I look at Melbourne, even though they lost and I got Para winning this game, it just says, for me, it just highlights this competition is anyone's.
Does it really bother Melbourne if they finish fifth? You know, because they're going to smack. I mean, Melbourne and Canberra. Does it really bother Melbourne?
It's a great point.
Do they want that 1 week off if they do get that first win?
Canberra tricky. Canberra just beat them down in Melbourne.
Do they want to play Penrith round one?
Yeah, that's a part of it.
You know what I mean? There's a big part of it. It's like, do I want to play them and then, or do I just, fall back to fifth?
There's an argument for either side.
Yeah, there is. And even with Parramatta, they'll probably give it to Canberra.
I'm of the argument
where Penrith don't really want to play Parramatta.
The weirdest, that was what I was going to say. I think if you're Para, you want to finish fourth. I think if you're Melbourne, I don't think you mind finishing fifth.
But that's why I don't think they care. And I don't think they care. They don't need the week off. They haven't been busted like they have in the last couple of years where Cam Smith wouldn't mind a rest. They're like, fuck it, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
I think Jerome Hughes being rested highlights it. Like I think Bellamy knows that this competition potentially could come down to whoever's healthiest.
Yes.
So if you have an option where you risk 70-30, 80-20 Jerome Hughes, and he does his calf and he's not playing finals.
Not doing it.
I reckon there might be where Bellamy's going, let's get back, Jerome, because no matter who we play next week, there's a good chance we could be playing 4 games regardless.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like they have that attitude. Who cares? They've usually been in the position where they are top 4 in the last 5 years when they had those rules. They don't give a shit. They could be finished 8th. They wouldn't care that.
And if you're Para, in terms of the best time to possibly play Penrith, it'd be that first game back for Jerome and Nate.
Yeah, Para want this.
You get 2 cracks.
You want Cleary. I mean, I know Cleary would be taking all the first reps in the last couple of weeks. It's not like he's sitting out doing nothing.
No.
Luai come back. You know what I mean? Like Fisher Harris didn't miss a beat. Fucking Leota's a machine. Isaiah Yeo, they're all getting rested. Like
he was on the Sunday Footy Show, Mace. You'll love this as well. He was on with Joey and Freddie, and he was talking
Leota?
Fucking Cleary.
Oh, Cleary.
Cleary, yeah. And I just listened to a few little things. I'm like the psychiatrist with Bellamy. I'm always looking at body language and the way people. I love that shit, right? And he goes, they talked about they call them the Cougars. They're the twos.
Yeah.
He's been running with the Cougars and giving it to the ones, like going after him. Like that's the competitive side of him.
Nice.
So there was a part of me that I was listening to this going, fuck, I'm thinking about all these teams that can beat Penrith, and I'm like,
no one's beating them.
No one's beating them. I just got this feeling. I got this a bit of a shiver.
He's got that swag, man.
He's got a real calmness about him, the Prince. And he's confident, but he's humble.
He's got mad swag, and they all even Fisher Harris and that forward pack, they back themselves. Outside backs from every single one of them. They've got 3 big runs into the grand finals. Like you wouldn't have nothing. You wouldn't have nothing but confidence. That's it.
All right, let's roll on Friday night scope. The Bulldogs are taking on the Manly Seagulls. Manly are outsiders +6.5 in Fozzie's last game in the jersey. It is at Accor Stadium. The over-under is 54.5, so they're expecting some points, Skip.
Yeah. And
I don't reckon it'll be that much.
Yeah, either do I, actually. Mate, so I'm with you, but when I was watching the Bulldogs play against the Sharks on the weekend, I thought the Bulldogs were up for it, but one thing it did highlight for me is the competitiveness of, or the difference between the best teams at the moment this year and the bottom 5 teams. And Bulldogs had a proper crack. I was watching that going,
if this was 16-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16-0. I go, if this was halfway through the year, just because of shit that happens throughout the year and you start to fucking relax a little bit, I feel like the Dogs might even jag this one. Yeah. You know, they had a close game at the halfway point through the year, but because the Sharks have to be playing good footy and it means a lot to them to get second, the Sharks were just good enough, yeah. So, Manly and a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, they're going to put some pride back into the jersey this week, boys. I think the Dogs been getting rissoled. You like?
Honestly, I think the Dogs will get this because they haven't been playing bad football, and I just think Manly's just thrown the towel in.
Yeah.
So fuck it, let's just end this year. Don't give a shit. Let's just get the hell out of here.
Interesting one.
I think they'll have a crack this week. I agree with Maze. It looks like they've hung it up, but I think this week they might put a little bit of a score on the Dogs and roll into the hell of an off season. I don't know. I've just got that feeling.
And you know the thing is when you got two clubs like this that are not in the 8, you're playing for pride. And it's your last game of the year. It's Foz's last game. You know, like Paul Vaughan's leaving. There's about 5 or 6 players in the Bulldogs that are leaving. They want to leave on a good term. You don't want to go to Mad Monday or fucking bust it up like that.
An interesting one that come out throughout the week, and this must be because he must be, like, he wouldn't just come and say this willy-nilly or apply for it. He must be in serious contention, and I think he'll be a good roster player for the Kiwis. Is apparently D Walks has been trying to get eligible to play for New Zealand because he represented Australia 8 years ago. I think they've knocked it back, but surely there's enough time between drinks. If you're
it's never not when you represent Australia.
It's tier 1. You can never. It's like Radley, right?
Yeah. So when that's why Radley is
giving up Origin.
The first time he runs out for England, it means he can't. Yeah, you're not going to be able to bounce back.
That does suck.
We spoke about it.
I want to see him play Origin, but
we spoke about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. It was just like, he must have come to terms with like, fuck it. He wants to represent his family and stuff. But I'm pretty sure he could get in that next World Cup.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have a crack, man.
Yeah, it's more to do with, I think he spoke about his old boy and his...
Walks has played for the Māoris and stuff. Like he does have New Zealand heritage. He's playing for the Warriors next year. He's obviously more in touch with that culture later in life.
Yeah, he has been,
Yeah, it would be nice for us, but can't see it happening. You going the Dogs, Mace?
Yeah, I just think, I don't know, haven't been playing bad football.
Yeah.
I'm with Mace. I think unders will be a play.
Yeah,
under 54 and a half. Yeah.
50, that's a lot of points. All right, and the big one, Scope. Allianz, Friday night, they're opening up the new stadium.
The return to Allianz.
The return to Allianz. There was a little bit of breaking news on this one, boys. So Jason Demetriou has tested positive for COVID, so he won't be at the game. So Salsa missing their head coach.
Do you think that really matters? No fucking way.
Not on a game day.
Do you reckon he could actually be mic'd up from home, telling?
Surely, I would say
just
so.
on FaceTime or you know what I mean? Technology these days, he could be on that whole fucking thing. Looking at, you know what I mean? He's watching the game from home and he's talking to his assistant coaches, telling them what to say. I think whatever. I don't know. There's ways. I mean, there's ways to communicate with your team.
It depends how good your coaching staff is.
But you spoke about...
You got Ben Hornby there. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys spoke about coaching at the top of the show with regards to Gamble. I think the South pretty much know what they're going to do on Friday.
Well, they got to fucking win.
Yeah, Latrell and Cody and Damien Cook will be doing a lot of talking on game
Cook's
day.
Out.
Anyway. Oh, yeah, Cookie's out. He is too. Got COVID. He's got COVID as well.
He's going to be a big loss. But I think... you get him out. He's obviously going to suck because of Cam Murray's offloads. But I think Cam Murray, when he gets an offload to Cook just goes bang and runs. Like, he's going to get back to Harvilli. Harvilli's just going to be looking for Walks or Latrell, and they'll be going straight at a strike straight away. It's going to be dangerous. I think this game sucks because I think they're going to face each other next week, and one of them going to be out.
If Para wins...
Does it matter?
No, if Para wins, they're locked into 4th, Melbourne are 5th, and Roosters and Rabbitohs will play each other no matter what.
That's what I'm saying. So no matter what.
But if Melbourne wins, one of these two teams can go to 5th.
And play
Canberra.
Well, I fucking want that because I don't want these two to go bang, bang.
I
did that in 2001. We had to do that with St. George and we got dusted twice. Yeah. And we finished second. This was no top 4 second chance. Finished second, got bang, bang. Fucking Trent Barrett.
You get Latrell versus Joey again as well, Skip. That's, I reckon, in terms of one-on-ones.
They haven't talked about that, have they?
In terms of one-on-ones, I think that going back to probably about 3 or 4 years ago when it was Kiwis Aussie and they were going at each other when they were both played at the Roosters, I think that's the best one-on-one personal matchup in the game right now.
And they'll see each other.
You've set me up well here, Jacko, because I wrote down Rabbitohs are timing their run perfectly. So I'm still big on the Rabbitohs. their big name players will be played better the bigger the occasion. So when I talked about on 10 of the Ken, the little jabs that they're throwing, Latrell, Cowboys are a good team. Don't get me wrong. Cowboys had a mad season, but it's bigger fish to fry for Trell. Yeah, he ain't wasting his big performances on the Cowboys, respectfully. He wants the chooks, and they played each other at the start of the year. He tailed them up before he did the hammy. Remember before he went overseas? He wasn't even fit. He was in second gear.
Trell Mitt was like fucking $110.
Trell Mitt not fit.
And to your point, Jacko, Joey Manu was into that game. Scored a try over Trell, threw the ball on the ground. We're in for a big one. Whether it's going to be this week or next week, I'm not too sure. I think Thursday's game will dictate what sort of passion we have in this game. Yeah. No matter what, South versus Roosters is going to be fucking passion.
It's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Opening of Allianz. It's like this is a massive, massive occasion. But they regardless if this is 15th and 16th, they're going to tear each other's heads off.
But if they're fighting for fifth with it's that
little
bit of extra.
So if Melbourne win,
it's the Salt Bay's going to come in.
So tell me this. So if Melbourne win,
the winner out of the Roosters and Rabbitohs will go to fifth because they've got a better for and against than Para. But if Para win, Melbourne have got to wait. I think they're for and against.
So they want Melbourne to win.
Yeah, they want Melbourne to win.
So it's a pretty much
they can fight for fifth.
Game.
Yeah, so they can fight for fifth. Otherwise, if Parramatta win, it's just Roosters and Rabbitohs playing each other back to back.
That sucks. I don't want them to see them go out like that. I don't want to see because they've both got a fair chance.
Yeah,
that would suck.
Yeah, it sucks that they'll play each other and knock each other out.
So I want Melbourne to win. Just only because I want to see those play. I want to see them play in the Final Four.
So I want Parra to win just because I want Joey versus Latrell back to back.
That's what I'm saying.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah, but
back.
You don't want them back to back.
I don't want back to back. I want a bigger game. I want all the fucking everything pushed.
You want a prelim
if
you can.
Prelim.
No, they can't. It would have to be a grand final.
Allianz.
If they finished,
they'll be on the opposite sides.
They would have to be on opposite sides, I believe. Someone will probably correct me.
Versus Joey in a grand final.
Oh,
mate, that's what Sydney. I've been wanting that grand final for the last 10 years.
Everyone's been wanting it.
South and Roosters, and then one of them keeps fucking falling over.
All right, let's go Melbourne. All right, moving on to
they're in the prelim.
Yeah. Slight anticlimax in terms of games here, but we're going back to Mount Smart on Saturday for the Warriors taking on the Titans.
This is what I do on the take. Whenever it's a game like this, fuck this, go to the next one.
Leave it to me, mate. So me and Jacko will go through this kiddies game.
The boys, rightly so, favoured at home. I think they'll smack the shit out of the Titans anyway. The over-under...
I'm going the Titans.
What about this, mate? The over-under is 57.5. Expecting some points.
Oh, my God. No one's going to get that.
There's going to be no defence. And Marju and Paddy Herbert up against
I don't know, because they both can put on points.
Fucking
Mount Smart, if it's decent enough weather...
it's supposed to be good weather. It's a sellout, so...
The Warriors...
I did back the Titans.
Yeah.
No, the Warriors, because I just think that Mount Smart. The Mount Smart
sold out.
It's sold out.
It's old boys'
game. Their old boys' day. They're going to go to that next level. Their fucking families there, I'm telling you.
Aaron Woods
Titans are like, just get me the fuck out of here.
Who?
Aaron Woods, the old fake Aaron Woods, does the Suaalii.
Sorry, yeah.
So Stace, he's right back in front of Stace. So.
How bad do you feel for the Titans? Didn't make the 8. You got to go over to New Zealand for your last game on a Saturday night. Probably get pumped, come home sore as fuck, hungover, and then just be like,
I like the Titans.
The whole way.
I reckon the Titans are going to dust them.
I'm just talking about like how people have the really bad rap on New Zealand. I'm never going to play for the Warriors because this has been most people's experience, apart from the Auckland Nines. So you go over there. So you go over there in the winter. So you got a 6 o'clock flight on just say on the Friday. You got to play Saturday night. So you go over there regardless. They're physical as fuck. You get bashed. You could win. You possibly could win the game. Possibly could get smashed. Go out that night, you're hungover as fuck. You got a 6 o'clock flight, so that's a fucking 4 o'clock start. That means you're 3:30 up. You're just getting home at 3.
You're getting a Marshall.
You're just going straight. You're just getting straight. Your gear's packed. You got everything ready, and you're going straight to the bus.
You're going straight from the water.
You're going straight from straight in the fucking warm. You've already done your fucking warm down and everything after the game, ice baths, all that sort of shit.
The buffet breakfast isn't open.
Yeah, the buffet's not even open. You got to get the airport. Nothing's open at the airport. You got to wait. It's an awful trip.
Auckland Airport.
You got to fill out those fucking things, those forms when you're half pissed and you can't fill the. Don't know your passport number. Where's your passport? It's like, oh my God, could this be? You might do your fucking ACL or your broken collarbone or some shit. Busted up hip. I don't know.
Last game.
I've just had some really bad. Last game, you know what I mean? Just
you're already out.
You're all split and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, you're starting up.
You've had fucking Conrad Hurrell, Manu Vatavai running at you for fucking 80 of the best.
Fika Paliacina coming off the back fence.
Fucking big fecker.
Doing the big goosey off the fucking kickoff.
Kill you the whole game. Jerry Seasoo, fucking. Mate, Owen Goodenbeals.
Those are the golden years, eh? They had some good years back
Biggest
in those
hands
days.
and
They were
biggest-
competitive around your years, eh, mate?
That was my era. It was crazy.
Biggest hands in rugby league, Owen Goodenbeal. Those things are like fucking softball.
Yeah,
Goodenbeal.
he's a
Fucking
fucking
hell.
great guy. I love him.
Legend, Owen Goodenbeal. He was a youngster during my dad's time, and Owen Goodenbeal.
He's a man.
Yeah, good
Nice
man.
following. All right, so we're both going Warriors 13 plus. Let's roll on. Saturday, the Dragons taking on the Broncos. Skip. This is the one which, I mean, obviously the Broncos have to, and we spoke about gambling.
Can they make the 8?
Yes. So
Mathematically, if they win by 100.
no, if they win and Canberra just need to lose.
They got to win by like 40 or
Canberra's
50.
playing the
though.
Tigers.
No, they're on the same points. I'll double check.
No,
No, not the same. No, they're on the same points. They are.
Yeah.
They're on 28 each.
They're on 28 each scope. So if all they got to do is win and then have Canberra lose.
No, they've got to win by 50. Like the for and against for Canberra is.
No, but if
they're on the
Canberra
same
lose-
points. So if Canberra lose,
Canberra lose.
Are you
Broncos.
sure?
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think-
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, okay.
so if Broncos win, they'll move to 30 points. So they'll go ahead of Canberra.
Yeah.
So
Both
it's-
on 28. One needs
Yeah.
to win, one needs to lose. That's it.
that's it.
Canberra aren't losing.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that
They'll find that out.
they'll be the last game of the week, so they're not going to know until Sunday.
It's a juicy game too because I like the Dragons in this. I think the Dragons are going to beat them.
Because the Raiders would just be looking at that and just say the Bronx just say they win. Like, mate, they've got everything to play for.
Yeah.
You know, surely they can muster up something.
Who, the Broncos?
No, the Raiders. I mean, just
Yeah,
say if the
Raiders.
Broncos win, and you're like,
Yeah.
Then they have
well,
to.
fucking Raiders are sitting there going, we've got to fucking
Well, see the you're right.
lay the
yeah,
smackdown on the
Yeah.
West Tigers. God,
Yeah.
If it goes the other
Tigers
way,
are
mate,
tricky.
so let's say the Broncos go out there and like Scopes thinking if the
Dragons are good.
if the Dragons
are,
win, then all Canberra have to do is basically go hold the gloves. They don't even have to win. They just have to
Dragons will
They can
drop all
rest
their
everyone.
players
They
out.
can rest everyone.
They
Yeah,
can
they'll
rest
rest all their
everyone.
players.
Yeah. I'll be pulling Jack White in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. We'll get to the next couple of games. Just quickly on that, I think the Dragons will beat them. Looking at the Dragons, there's a bit of mail too that there's serious unrest at the Dragons. I don't want to sort of throw it out without getting too much more information, but if I'm looking at the Dragons, because I'm always thinking ahead for the teams that are down the bottom, Jack Bird has to be on the ball more. So when he got sent for 10 and he come back on the field and they end up putting I think they took Talatau Mono off, and that's just like such a disservice to be taken. Like, these kids need to be playing in games that don't mean anything. Like, you need to be getting the reps.
Yep.
And I think the reason Hook said was to get Jack Bird on the ball as much as they can, but play him in the 13. Like, play him in the 13, get the younger
100%.
halves.
They did that earlier in the year, but I think injuries they've just forced him back out.
Jack Bird's been forced to go everywhere because he's just he's that sort of player. He can
one
play
of
all
the
over the
players,
shot.
so-
Yeah. But yeah, for me,
think
he's got to play
Dragons
13 in the modern day. You know, we're talking about the modern day 13. He can do
He's
it,
got the
mate.
skills. Mate, he's played 5'8". He's got that skill set.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends if he, because he's a runner. Will he want to run and dummy all the time, all that sort of stuff? You know, be pretty predictable.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He is a runner. Like, he wants to be that lead runner. He doesn't want to be the ball
Do you reckon
player.
DeBallin's capable of it?
No,
No
way.
I don't
He's
believe so.
he's very one-dimensional, very pedestrian with the way that he plays.
He's actually quite
slow.
plateaued. He's plateaued a little bit, Jack DeBellin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. He missed 2 years of footy, man.
That's
It's
true.
fucking
Yeah,
hard.
I think he just needs, probably another preseason and just probably get
he's
back
got
up to speed.
It took Vel about 18 months to get back to his best
He had
after
to
going
change
to the
his whole
Jets.
body shape and everything.
Yeah. Just on the Broncos too, just off the back of this news, all my notes were before the fucking Gamble news this morning. One to watch now, even more so. And this it makes even more sense now after the fucking Gamble. Payne Haas. And the reason I said at the start of the year, Jacko, and I got hammered for it in the comments, just watch out. It might not necessarily be about money for Payne. And I said, there's no way
Not
I can...
about money for Payne.
I said,
I'll
there's no way of
guarantee
me
that.
being able to prove this until he signs a new deal somewhere else and he's not chasing the $1 million contract like people think.
No.
Just wait.
People have got it wrong. The narrative, they tried to change the whole narrative in Brisbane.
I got hammered for it, mate.
Tried to turn, I stuck up for him
it.
as well.
Yeah.
They're trying to change the narrative and control the narrative up there that he's greedy and everything like that. Mate, it's not about money for that kid. I'll 100% stand by that, and that's just the honest truth.
Yeah, I think
You can look into it however you want, but it's not about money.
I think he wants to be coached by the best of the best. So whether that's at Broncos or not, maybe if you go back and watch the film of the Take It Willie Mason and the YKTR Scope podcast, we've been talking about this for a minute.
Yeah,
a minute.
100%. He's just
It's important they finish strong too.
There's things on the outside that is not about football
exactly.
that is bothering him. And If it's not fixed, shit'll hit the fan.
All right. Mace, do you have to bounce, bro, before you keep rolling? Or
No, I'll go there.
You all right? Stick around?
Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
We're going. You've got 2 more games, haven't we?
Yep, 3.
3. We'll go
Yeah,
through
that's
quick. All right, Scope. Let's
Rush
go.
through the shit ones.
All right, Scope. Panthers missing everybody,
This is
taking on the
important.
Cowboys.
Actually, this game is important, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they've rested all their players, Panthers.
Yeah.
Do you have the same mindset if you're Todd Payton, Mace? Because the Sharks are going to play Newcastle and pretty much wrap up second position. Would you rest some of the Cowboys players, even though you're playing before? So just say potentially, right? They beat Penrith because Penrith are playing everyone but Mitch Kenny.
Does it matter with the whole thing?
Yes, it does. So they can finish second, right? If they win and Sharks lose. But
They're still going to play the Sharks.
Yeah, they'll still be on the same.
no, but they get a home final. Would that matter to you? Or if
Yes,
you were
it
Todd
would.
Payton,
It would matter.
Would if you were Todd
No,
Payton?
it would matter.
Do you think the Sharks are definitely going to beat the Knights though? So do you take that in consideration?
You've got to take everything in consideration. It's old boys' day up there. They go nuts up there on that Sunday.
So are the Knights a chance of beating the Sharks?
Yeah,
do you
they're a
think?
big chance.
Okay, cool.
But I just don't.
Then
I
you
just
play
don't
full
think
team
that
for the
if
Cowboys.
you had a Ponga, if you had everyone like that, if you had them all full strength, then it's different. Cronulla's going to be hard to beat up there regardless because I don't think they really give a shit where they play. They just got that rough, rugged style of play. They just turn up. They could play anywhere. Play in a telephone booth.
With the Panthers, Mace, do you like resting all these players or do you want to keep momentum? So a lot of these players Jerome hasn't played much footy. Dylan Edwards has missed a game or two.
If I was Jerome, I'd probably play.
Yeah, Jerome's been named. I thought he was
I
in the
think
extended
he
squad.
might play.
He's out.
I'm not sure, but
No, he's
I
out.
agree with. If it's not a team that hasn't had massive, big, deep runs into the finals, and you just sort of fluked a year, I'm not resting anyone because you want to go with that continuity and all that kind of stuff. But when you've got a whole team that's been together for 5 years and you've made big runs, you've won a comp,
100%.
you've been to
Freshen up
two
the
grand
grade.
finals, rest everyone. Let these young bucks go in there and just fucking brutalise North Queensland because they'll be up there trying to fucking play a real physical game with them. And that'd be the plan. Go out there and hit them as hard as you can. Don't give a fuck about the score. Just go in there and make sure they feel that you played against them. So they're busted for the next week. That's exactly my game plan. If I was a coach, go up there, have a bunch of hitters, go in there as hard as you can, get the fuck out of there, win, lose, or draw. We've got the JJ Gillen anyway.
That's why I wouldn't put Jerome in either because if you go out there, you got all the Reggies, they're going to have a crack. If it gets
If he thinks he needs a game, he'll play.
yeah.
I don't think he's a vet now. He's played 2-3 Origin series.
He doesn't get on the piss in that too.
No,
so he's like a guy that looks after himself.
He looks after himself, and I think it's time for him to come back. And if he wants to play, I think he can play. If not, don't play. Everyone else,
because if the game gets away from him and you leave Jerome out there and they're getting pumped by 20, he's just a lazy little injury. It's not worth it.
And what's he done?
He had an ankle. I think he had
his ankle or knee or
I could be wrong. Something around the lower. I believe it was around
I
the
wouldn't want to risk it because a week off.
Yeah.
Just do your rehab, and just get back for that week one of finals and come out blazing.
I love the idea of sending the Reggies out there just to bash up North
Mate, that's
Queensland.
that's all you're going to. If I'm coach, I'm
They're
going to
gonna go hard too,
I'm
those
like, go
Reggies.
out there and because guess what? Just say if an injury happens in first round of the playoffs, I want that next kid up who went fucking nuts in that game.
You know the thing. This people won't understand. This is going to be so hard mentally for the Cowboys to get up for this.
Yeah, man. Because they think
You don't realise because at the end of the year, you just want to be playing. You want to play a proper team. You don't want to play Reggies because it doesn't matter like who you are. Maybe the best of the best, like the Cameron Smiths, even like Mason shit. But like a lot of players would be like, just want to get through this now.
Hard to get up for a guy.
Yeah.
If you look across at the opposite centre and you literally
don't know who he is.
I
Don't know
think
who he is.
Todd
Yeah.
Payton would be going, we want a home semi because that fucking crowd is going to be different.
Their points difference is way better than Cronulla. So
Yeah, I know.
if they win,
Yeah, and if they get a home, have you been to that stadium up there?
no.
It's crazy.
It's a graph.
And like they'll pack that out, and there will be not one Cronulla supporter there. It'll be all North Queensland, and that's an extra man there. It's like Suncorp. It's built like that. It's a mini Suncorp. They're right on top of you. They're loud as fuck, and that is a bonus. So you're gonna try and get out there and try and get this win.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
I'm backflipping on myself actually now. I'm going. Todd Payton will have him up. I believe in him.
Let's roll on, Scope.
Yep.
The game rolls straight nicely off the back of that. It is Old Boys Day at Newcastle. The line is plus 18.5 for Newcastle, and the over-under is 53.5, so they are expecting points, but I can't see Cronulla dropping this one despite what we just spoke about.
Yeah, either can I, mate. So I just think
much
the
class.
Knights, there's just
Too much
like
class. It's class.
Yeah, there's class and there's like no one is there's no togetherness at all. What's the word? What's the best word?
It's separated.
Connectivity. That's
There's no
probably wrong as well.
connectivity. There's no synergy.
Cohesion.
There's no synergy. There's no
cohesion is the word.
Synergy. Like synergy. There's nothing there. It looks like it's just all falling apart. Like a few little drums by the end of the year. Like the Clemmer thing. That sort of.
They can't wait for the season to be over.
That sort of split the group a little bit. I don't know.
Are you happy, Mace, off topic a little bit, but to see no sanctions handed down for both?
The boys are free. Let them play.
KP and Kurt Mann.
Hey, nothing happened.
Oh, good.
He's just helping out his mate in the toilet.
See?
They just fucking bought a property.
They're probably vaping or some shit.
Yeah.
Who cares? Let them go. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad that
boys didn't do anything. 6 again.
Didn't do shit. Fucking dickhead who's filming that stuff should get his head kicked in.
Security
That's
guard.
all I'll be fucking filthy on.
All right.
Look after each other, boys.
Sorry to the Newcastle Knights fans or Cronulla Sharks fans that will want more info. Cronulla Sharks, we'll talk more about you in the next couple of weeks, so relax. Cronulla, you will win this game. It might be ugly, but you will win.
Wade Graham's coming into his own too.
Yeah.
It's good to see
nice.
Big
Wade's
Wade
getting
O'Brien. I like
his-
him. I like him. He's a good leader. He's a captain. He's inspirational out there. He hits hard, still got it. And they feed off him. They missed Toby Rudolph a little bit, but they still got those. They still got those young bulls in
Royce
the middle.
Hunt.
Yeah, bruh. They run hard. They
Who?
test.
Who's your boy?
Braden Hamlin-Uele.
They test you. They're near the line. They're running. They're trying to hurt you. I love the way they play. The back row's good. They're pretty well balanced side, man. Mulatalo's a gun, man. That winger.
He is a gun.
Fucking I think Katoa's out at the moment.
Yeah, Katoa, there's a chance he could come back.
I mean, the big boy's back in the
You
centres.
can get around 6s at the moment for Muatalo to be the leading try scorer at the World Cup. He's going to be the Kiwis winger.
Geez, you've thrown a spanner in the works there, Jack. I didn't see that one coming.
Just saying.
But that's not a bad shout. I will say you're right on the. I reckon maybe 10 weeks ago, Wado wouldn't have been a part of their. I reckon it would have been the shaking the hand like Andrew Fafita. I reckon he's played his way back into contention and for sure Fitzy
I keep
will
forgetting how old he is.
Yeah.
He's only 32, but he's been around since he was fucking 17, 18. I think I played in his debut game in 2008. Freddie told me to spot him up and he fucking flogged me. I haven't forgotten about it either.
Good info
I was
again
just like,
from...
who's this young 5'8", little rat from fucking Penrith? Bang, just got straight on me ribs. I was like,
See, that's why coaching's important,
I'm
right?
like-
Because he hasn't done his homework. He
he
just
didn't do
said
his
young
homework.
kid.
He didn't tell me he was a hitter. He didn't tell me he was flogging everyone in Reggie's all year. Put me on his spot. Swap me sides. Get me on the other side. Get me on Samet.
The weak-gutted dog.
Wait, Samet?
Oh, Samet. Oh, he said Samet. Jared Samet.
Get me on Samet.
Bro, Jared Samet's got more shout-outs than most fucking NRL players on.
I
He's
don't know
got,
why he keeps getting shout-outs to Jared Sam.
I just love it.
He's a
I mean,
giggle.
he just had that just that little bit of a
he's a little dirty
6
dog from
weeks,
Doonside. He was.
little 6 weeks of fame. Fucking ran with it.
He did. Jeremy Lin.
Fucking Linsanity. Samanity.
All right, last game. Look, if the Broncos are able to get up over the Dragons, this will be the final one to decide the 8. So Canberra win and they're in. But Scope, Tigers, probably just looking to hang it up. It is at Leichhardt. The great Paul Kent will be in attendance as well. I don't know what that means, but
What do you mean?
I don't know. He just made a mention of it on the show last night. He said
Who?
he'll be
Paul
done.
Kempy? Who's the fuck?
Why do you reckon they're going to flow through? Hey, people, I want to say one thing too, just on
Let him
360.
sit on the hill.
Bro, he said it like it was a big announcement.
PK, please. I know you watch the show. You're a big fan. Get on the hill, bro.
Yeah.
Be real. Be real.
Oh, he's in
You'll
the
get fucking jumped,
He's
bro.
in the members suite.
Yeah, they ain't got to sweat it like
Yeah,
that.
he ain't going to.
I love
He ain't
PK.
going to get down there with the civilians. People think we because we have a crack at Paul Kent with his. I actually think he's
Mate, PK's
entertaining.
a good bloke.
I think he's entertaining.
got some
I
shit
don't
to
agree
say,
with everything he says.
No, you don't have to.
But like someone will go, "Oh, Paul Kent."
Most
like,
of the time,
what
he's
are you
got some
doing?
good points.
Yeah.
He's just the way little
It's a
fucking-
giggle. Like he's on a show. People fucking probably don't like our takes half the time, but we're not probably as big as what fucking
Nah,
NRL
we're
360 is. They
fucking
don't see
way
it on
bigger than 360.
We're going to be.
we are.
We're going to be way bigger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know
After
why, but
this pod.
He said it like it was some big announcement. Like
Yeah,
he was,
like everyone gives a shit.
yeah, he was breaking the game down.
PK.
He goes, I'll be there at Sunday.
That'd be like
What-
Buzz going, I'll be there as well.
Well, Buzz is going to be in our Friday night game,
what did
so-
Braith do? Did he laugh or anything?
Braith's
Nah,
just,
Braith's
you know,
just
Braith does
fucking-
these ones. He just goes,
You see Braves just, no, this is what Braves does. Sorry, this is what you goes.
Yeah. Fuck. It's a tough carry for him, man. But he's doing a good job.
He's doing a great job.
Canberra should do a job.
Canberra, got it.
Canberra should rest everyone. Shout out to Shout out to Charnsey and Nickel Klogstad.
Yeah, man, that was an emotional thing last week.
You're getting a good one there next year, Jacko. Anyone that knows Charnsey, who had a bit to do with Charnsey, he's one of the great dudes, one of the great guys.
A couple of years ago,
clearly,
fullback of the year.
Clearly, the club means a lot to him. Clearly, playing rugby league means a lot to him. He's a guy you just want at your club. So Canberra losing a good one, Warriors are getting a good one, and
everyone wins.
It was
Everyone
good to see
wins.
that. I enjoyed that. It got me a little bit teary. Yeah.
Because I
So
thought
good
that
on
he was
him.
playing first grade. I'm like, the game hasn't even really started. I didn't know he was in Reggie's.
Yeah.
You don't see many tears in reserve grade. So that wasn't.
no.
Yeah. What a fucking. He's good dude. Good
We'll be
dude.
laughing.
So again, that is the last round review. Next time we see Mace will be finals time, baby.
Finals time, baby.
Thanks,
Shot, Mace.
All right. Thanks, boys.